Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Classic Quest podcast. This is the show where we break down the classic hip-hop albums track by track, giving thoughts and opinions on every song. Today we have Dizzee Rascal's Boy in the Corner up for debate. Why? Because it's a classic. As far as, you know, the world should know, in my opinion, it's a classic. Spoilers. It's called Boy in the Corner. It's by Dizzee Rascal. We're going to talk about each song. My name is Holden Stephan Roy.
I am your lady friend, Bonnie.
And you?
And I am Chris.
Who's this guy?
Yeah, and so fair warning, everybody watching this. We are doing this live on Twitch. We have a little testy scenario going where we're running multiple calls, and hopefully everything sounds and looks great. If there's any little issues with it, super sorry, super duper sorry.
Let us know in the chat if you can hear us, if you're hearing double, if you're hearing triple, if you think we're cool, anything.
Yeah, all that good stuff. On that note, I think it's a good time to kind of just get into our little promo at the beginning. So I make music myself. Chris makes music. Link in descriptions. You can check that out. Let us know what you think. If you do support the format of this channel, feel free to hit us up at patreon.com/behindthatsuit and show some love like that. But we do like to start off every single episode talking a little bit about why we chose to review this album, why it's up on the chopping block, all of that good stuff. And this one is a patron request from Mr. Lindell Williams, and by request he specifically asked to have Mr. Christopher return and do this little episode with us so that we could basically have the experience.
Like he knew I was gonna say yes, given the experience that I got from this album and just the fact that it's like UK grime. And when I looked through the track list, I saw Wiley, and if ever you guys saw our Wiley review, I was super hyped for that. So I think Lindell, for me, I just want to shout out Lindell on a personal note because he's very smart. He's very smart. He's been asking for me to come back a little bit, and I think he kind of got a little annoyed that I didn't show up. So he's like, I'm gonna trap him, give him something I know he's gonna love. So yeah, I might be spoiling it a bit, but shout out to Lindell for really being on this journey with us, and shout out to all the other Patreons as well for being on this journey and talking with us and helping us from day one. I really do appreciate it. I know we all do. I just want to take that moment because this album.
Right. So I do think it's important though, because a lot of y'all watching this, you need to know our familiarity with Mr. Dizzee Rascal. You need to know where we're coming into this. I don't want to front like I'm some pro. I don't want to front like I know some stuff. I do understand that this album in particular is super important and seminal in terms of the importance of mainstream culture towards grime. That's what the internet told me real quick. But when you try to look at the internet for stuff, you kind of get lost, in my opinion. It's not like it's the clearest source of finding information in terms of truth. So if y'all may disagree with some stuff, if y'all even just the debate is if grime is a subculture of hip hop or its own separate thing. That sparked a little debate on my Facebook today. So I don't want to speak on things I don't know. For us, the goal here is to take a little journey on the album track by track and explore it, so y'all can get our impressions on it. But for me, I literally have not heard pretty much anything from Dizzee Rascal prior to this day, or when we did this review. This was my first exposure to the guy. I don't know about y'all. Did either of you have some kind of exposure to Dizzee Rascal prior to this?
No.
If we look up on some Genius tracks, if you look up his name, I think we've fallen on some tracks that he may be featured on in some ways, because I saw some songs that I feel we've reviewed or we've listened to. So maybe. Because I just have maybe I heard him because I am really interested in the UK rap, so he kind of maybe have popped up on some of the artists that I've listened to or whatnot. But yeah, really no. All that to say, really,
maybe
I don't
if
really
they
know.
played one of his songs on Top Boy or something, I might have heard him.
That's fair.
Without knowing that it was him, but that's it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's he's one of those. I feel also he could have been on the Wiley album.
Maybe. So what we're trying to say, instead of wasting everyone's time, is we have not heard of him, Chris. We don't need to go into the micro details of every little track, Chris. You don't know the man's catalog. That's what we're trying to establish here, everybody.
You're right.
Anyway, just we're trying not to waste time, dude. We don't want this to be like 17 hours. We don't want them to be like boring and click away. That's all I'm trying to say. We want to keep it alive and keep it moving. So yo, we're excited though, because for me, in a lot of ways, this channel has given us a few tastes of grime along the way, and it's always been kind of delightful. So let's move into the part where we can justify having the album cover in the corner, because hashtag copyright law, you gotta actually talk about it if you want to use it. I love this album cover because that yellow is fucking fresh as fuck, pops out, makes it stand out. Plus the way he lowered the saturation in his image. That's right, I'm learning photography terms now. So he's all fucking like colorless is pretty cool in my opinion. Just the way he like pops, makes the yellow pop more. It's just nice to look at. It reflects him. I like his little devil horns, kind of showing a rebellious little side to him. This is one of the cooler album covers to make me go, who is this guy? How am I gonna get to know him a little bit? You know what I'm saying? How do y'all feel about it?
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I forgot to mention that this album, Boy in the Corner, came out July 21st, 2003. So, you know, go back a little bit. I would have been in like grade 9. So yeah, anyways, it is him sitting in the corner of a very yellow room, and he's all in black, and he's sort of like doing like the little horns. It kind of looks like an alien, but I'm guessing it's supposed to be devil horns. And it's yellow and bright, and it's unique. I guess people in like London area, England, you know, Coldplay, yellow, this, yellow. Maybe it's just, you know, it's very dreary. And so maybe to have like this like bright yellow is like a nice thing, you know.
I would love to know y'all watching this in the comments if that's a thing, because that could be
like
a
it
thing.
just made me think of like the dreariness of London and like the rain and like how there's not a lot of like beautiful sunny days. Like they still have like beautiful sunny summers, but like it's not maybe not as like bright. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
I do know.
You know, plus like maybe he's like this like bright yellow thing that's like in like this grimy like dark space or something like that. Like he's like the light at the end of the tunnel or something.
That's super cool actually. Like, especially with the content of the album, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Chris?
I do agree. I like personally, I feel like that was a really kind of far reach, but I like how when we kind of broke it down. No, not to like be negative or nothing. It's like when we kind of broke it down, I was like, okay, I can see where she's going with that. I think that for myself, the yellow kind of is just an emphasis on the color contrast of the black shading that he is himself in terms of representing the boy in the corner. I like how you did express he's doing the little devil horns, kind of like an alien thing. A lot of the alien devilish type of symbolism does get represented a lot through this album, which we'll definitely get into. So I like how he's symbolizing that with the album cover himself. I like really that emphasis of like being in the corner, kind of like when I saw the album cover itself and when I kind of read the title, I was like, this, for me, what was interesting is this man minds his own business. Like it's not like, you could take it in a way where it's like boy in the corner, troublemaker, you know, always off to the side, always getting into rascally things. Sure, let's go with that.
That makes me think of like Time Out, you know, like being like put in the corner.
Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. But I also feel like at a certain point there is this this aspect of like this aspect of just I can't even just isolating himself, getting away from everything, being vigilant, being analytic, kind of just there. So that's you know what I kind of took from that.
I think also being like forced into a corner, like when like an animal is like kind of like trapped and kind of like forced into like a corner of like nature corner between like a rock and a hard place, like they're going to attack. Right. So they're gonna come at you and they're gonna fight back because they have nowhere else to go. So it kind of makes me think of that as well.
That's really cool. I think
just
that's
before we move on, I also want to make a point. Sorry, before we go on, I also want to make a point. For my own personal experience, the Nikes on his feet are actually like an iconic thing in UK. A lot of the UK rappers that I listen to, they reference like Air Force Ones. They reference a lot of Nike bars. They reference a lot of that. Like it's I've heard a lot of like the rapper guys I listen to, like Dutch Avelli, Conan, and I forget the other guy's name. Like anyway, whatever. Some of the newer hip hop artists that I listen to, they also do a lot of reference to Nike, and I feel like that's maybe a UK cultural thing.
Okay.
Like because I don't know. I think that's just worth discussing because it is significant. Like if you really look at the photo, that is something that does stand
So
out.
I think what's super interesting is because of how iconic this album is allegedly, and I say allegedly because I don't know. The internet told me, but it's apparently like huge. And so I imagine that most young people, especially in the game today, would have grown up like knowing this cover, knowing that shot, seeing the shoes, and I wonder how much of an impact that had in terms of spreading out. Because like look at that one Adidas song by like Run DMC and how widespread it made it.
Yeah.
Anyway, or I think it was LL Cool J that worked with Nike or one of them that had a similar impact and made a whole like thing go live. So that's a super interesting point.
Like the whole Drake and Adidas thing, like that's super recent, but the idea is still like there's those collaborations that always do kind of work.
But the Drake, I would not say that Drake didn't make Adidas cool the way that other people may have had like a generational impact in like a huge way.
Like Kaepernick has an impact on Nike. But I would say that. But
we're talking like basically there's a correlation between I think it's LL Cool J's love of like Air Force Ones or whatever. I think it's him. I could be wrong. And the stock price or the sales as a whole, and when that guy declined in popularity, the shoes did. None of the people otherwise brought up what it was, but because Chris pointed out that, and not Adidas, I think it's Nike for one of them. Like Run DMC was correlated to Adidas. I don't know. It could be Adidas for LL Cool J too. I am admitting here that I'm not 1,000% sure. I just remember watching an economics video that pointed out the relevance of like these rappers and the shoe. So I don't think Drake or any of the modern people have that level of impact on things with everyone running their own merch lines and shit like that. Like it'll never be that world again. But what you brought up, and I looked at that shoe and I thought about the significance of what you were saying. I was wondering if that shoe and this shot like this was that influential to a culture that I don't know much about, Like that's why I'm asking, because somebody there watching this in the future probably going to link us up with the answer.
Well, according to footwearnews.com.
Nah, Chris, we're not Googling. We're not doing that. That's not valid answers. That's just wasting time, Chris. Let's get into the album. The first track is called Sittin Here. All right, your lady friend Bonnie, tell us how you feel about your very first opening on this Dizzee Rascal experience. Are you sitting here telling us?
I am. Okay. That's exactly what I'm doing. This is cool. And like right away you kind of get like interested in the beat. Like there's something about it. I don't know what it is, but it sounds cool. And he's sitting there and he's thinking about, hold on, I need to mute this because I'm just getting too much of Bonnie. So he's there and he's thinking about the life that he sees around him, and it's kind of full of sadness, and he's remembering when he was a child and when life was easy and like how things are different now, and people are doing shady things, and he's seeing like these innocent girls growing into like hoes and kind of doing crazy things that that these innocent little girls that are skipping rope or whatever grow into like these wild girls. And people are getting beat by cops, and like this is like the reality that he sees around him while he's like sitting there, like maybe like on a bench in a park, where, like in his area, or maybe there's no parks in his area, or he's sitting on like his doorstep or something like that. Like he's just kind of sitting there and he's kind of like seeing like what's going on in his neighborhood, and he's kind of like depressed by it, and fair enough. And it's really like the same old story, where he's in like not the best circumstances, and because of the neighborhood he's in, and what he looks like, and all of the regular societal things that happen when you're a black man, living in the hood. And the beat is really, really interesting. It definitely has like a unique sound, like, and I guess maybe like if he is the one that started it, it's definitely like him that started this like unique British sounding sound, I guess. I don't know. And then there we have like the end, you know, my favorite. We got some gunshots. We've got the police
You gotta
sirens.
add some context for all the people that don't know you. What you mean by that's my favorite. They got some gunshots.
That's fair. That's fair. You know, I'm not just like, yeah. I mean, I enjoy listening to unique sounds, and often guns have a unique sound in songs. I'll just say that in different, like, you know, when you cock a gun or when you shoot it, and when they roll the thing that has the bullets in it. Like, I don't know terms, but anyways, there's police sirens, there's church bells, sort of like, you know, like this is what happens. First, you know, there's gunshots, and then there's you know, the police sirens, the ambulances, things like that show up, and then there's the, you know, funeral, whatever, and that's like the church bells and like the ominous, like the sad, like the reality of it, that this is sort of like the cycle that happens where people just come and go and die, and that's what he sees. So I mean, it's cool in like the sense that it's like it sounds cool and whatever, but like, I mean, obviously the topic that he's talking about isn't the coolest, but it's his reality, and I think that that's unfortunately a reality for a lot of people. So I can see how it relates. So I give this a 4.5 on 5.
All right, because I'm gonna go off, Chris.
Do it.
You should go next. We got to share. Sharing is caring, folks.
So, as an intro right off the bat, I thought it was really, really cool. I like to listen to albums kind of one time through and then really sit down and review it. And for some reason, I had this feeling like when this beat came on, it sounded like ODB, like a song from ODB. I can't even think of the song right now, but like that iconic do type of you know what I'm saying.
We got to avoid doo-doo-doos because that actually could trigger copyright. Sorry to be annoying everyone watching this, but we got to be on our game because that shit's dropping in 2021.
My bad, but like I know the song. Like I know a lot of people know that song from ODB, and right off the bat, I was like, yo, you know, Dizzee Rascal seems pretty already seems pretty connected with hip hop. Like before I get into a lot of like his UK life and stuff, like already I was like, if he sampled that, that's pretty cool. That shows his like connection to what he's listened to and stuff. So that already got me going. Then I like how he starts off the album with the first track in terms of like, I'm just sitting here, really relating to the album cover, really starting you off, giving you that visual. Like Bonnie said, it's kind of like the song's kind of like a representation of the life that maybe not the life that he so much lives. I'm not going to say he may not have gone through some of these experiences, but I think that he's also trying to represent a certain sector or a certain demographic of people in the UK that have to kind of live in these areas and live kind of through this. Now, what really, really got my attention was just how he started, right? Am I allowed to quote lyrics?
Yeah, just don't go like quote the whole verse because it'll take 2 hours. We're trying not to be those people no more.
Fair. So I'm just sitting here. I ain't saying much. I just think my eyes don't move left or right. They just blink. I think too deep. I think too long. Plus, I think I'm getting weak because my thoughts are too strong. Like right off the bat, I like how he's giving you this visual of like, he seems frozen. He seems super numb, but not like drug induced or anything like that. But just kind of like, as he's looking out in the world, as he's experiencing and looking out how things are happening, he just kind of feels a little bit vulnerable. And that's kind of how I kind of took this track, was more of a description of what the atmosphere around him is, building up that scenery before we really get into who he is himself. Because it's the same old story: shutters, runners, cats, and money stacks. For people who don't know, shutters, runners, and cats are slang for some like other people. Runners are people who are up on the street that, you know, slang drugs or shooters and stuff like that. Shutters, I think, like, I may not know what the legitimate slang word for that is, but I think he means like people closing their blinds or stuff like that, which is cool.
Right,
just
so
the way
let's
he
not
like
guess on slang. We don't know what it means. It just fits.
Fair enough. But even through running through some of the rest of the track, it also seemed like cool how he broke it down, right? Like in verse 2, I really don't feel like moving. So I catch. I watch all around. I watch every detail. I watch so heard. I'm scared. My eyes might fail. Like, I like how he's very analytic, and he's giving you this idea that you got to watch your movement. You got to watch every step and kind of like watch your back. It really does show that there's like kind of griminess in the city he's from. but it was also a really, really good way to start the track. It really start the album. It really flowed through with the beat. The beat itself was so different and iconic and just has that energy. Now, that's a lot of why I like a lot of UK rap, because of that type of music they have. So it was dope. It was dope. I gave this a 4.5 on 5.
I really like it. First of all, like, I feel like nobody here's talked about the fact is that this is excellent sounding rapping. Call it what you will about vocal delivery. The guy's flow is crazy. The way he rides that beat is insane, right? It's like this almost offbeat kind of ridiculous flow. I don't know the right words to use to convey how it is, but it doesn't feel like your standard in the pocket snug stuff that we're accustomed to in this modern era. It feels more erratic than that, but it still fits so perfectly onto the beat. He's so clear, you can hear every syllable proper. Because sometimes when I encounter some of the more grime stuff, I don't actually understand everything they're saying because they got like a thicker accent, and that's just kind of what it is. So I appreciated how clear he was in terms of it. As far as linguistics, there was one bar I thought was just it just right there proved how smart his language game is. It's the same old story. Students truant learn the streets fluent. I don't know that I ever heard anybody describe the fact that like kids are rebelling against school to drop out, understand the underbelly of the culture around them, like basically dropping out to move into the street games that exist due to whatever reason. That line was so powerful to me. That line just hit so heavy. Hold up, everybody. I'm not even gonna lie. I have to plug in my computer. Wow, what a thing to forget to do, everybody. Learning how to be live is such a complicated experience. Okay, we are back at it. But I just thought that was so powerful. And the way he writes all over, it's really like thought like that. And as Chris said, the descriptive nature, how he starts the verse is just so tone setting. You just sit there in this vibe where you're like, he kind of just shows that like it's almost like he has post-traumatic stress disorder is kind of what I took from it. I felt like he has lived through everything he put in this track. I felt like this is a guy, and he's about 18, 19 when this comes out, based on what Google said. He's about 3 years older than I based on his year of birth. And so he's sitting there, I guess on the tail end of that like more conventional crack era, and he's in this environment that's probably not so rich. And he's also, it's just the before and after, like that's kind of what this track conveys. And I feel like it's a great justification for his reality. Like, we used to have these simple things. We used to just kind of play kids. It used to be like, it was only yesterday. Life was a touch more sweet. Like, it was just there. And now we're here. Yeah. And all the hears, everybody's kind of described it. That chorus is just so loose. I'm just sitting here. Like, he's just watching everything. And, let's just talk about the fact that he's just watching everything. I think that's the best flex I've heard somebody drop on the beginning of an album, right? So, it tells you a lot about his character as a man. It tells you that he's the kind of guy that is going to be paying attention to your details. And if you think about it, in a world where maybe not everybody's learning all the things that they need to learn in order to like be like as sufficient due to a lack of education.
And whose album was it where he was like sitting in a park writing? Was it I feel like he was like sitting in a park and he was like watching like, and I think like that's kind of it, like a introspective like kind of thinker. Like, I guess, get that.
But what I was going for is more, the guy is teaching you how to maneuver in these circumstances. Before one talks, one should watch. Before one acts, one should pay attention and understand the world about them. Just like if you're trying to be a successful human being, introspection and self-awareness leads to growth and success. Mm-hmm. So right off the jump, he's teaching you shit while rapping in this excellent tone, while conveying this deep sense of storytelling over this enthralling beat that both makes you want to move and feel. Because I couldn't help it. I was literally dancing to like half this album. There's a couple of tracks where I was like, fuck it, I don't feel this when I'm sitting down. But most of them had me doing this crazy bouncing thing where y'all would laugh at me and whatnot. But still, I give it a 5.
I want to mention
it's a 5. It's a perfect song, Chris. It's a perfect song.
It is. But I want to mention, like, that's a lot of what I like about the UK music and about this album is that actual vibe, that there's certain sounds, and I'll be saying this throughout the whole review, certain sounds, certain feels, certain creations that are with these beats, and the way that they pronounce the words and the way that they kind of go at the lyric at the beats, that it's like you can't help but move. And I find like you don't get much of that in American music. So
That
there's
is
a lot.
absolutely not true. You don't get that in boom bap and you don't get that in trap, but you absolutely get this in hardstyle. You absolutely get this in a ton of American music. I'm gonna have to absolutely disagree with you on even
Fair,
punk music
fair.
taps into this energy, man. And I think that's a good point. Punk, like
I
if you
guess
think
I guess
about
I meant more like American rap, but that I didn't mean American music.
that's what I think is so cool about this. Now, again, I don't want to touch on the subgenre debate, but I look at this like it's its own thing in the way like trap is its own thing, in the way that the melodic stuff is its own thing. And I love how each of these things has such a vibe. Because, yo, this is the best mosh pit stuff I've encountered in a minute, right? In terms of the, not maybe this track, but the overall genre. It's one of my favorite sounds to like turn the fuck up to. Anyway, let's talk about the next track, Stop That, which may be what they're saying to us. All right, so I want to just say before I pass it off, this is an excellent follow-up, and it makes the first track like even better. And the reason I say that is because the first track contextualizes almost why he has to come through with this Stop That attitude. So he doesn't just come through like he's hard.
Okay.
He actually shows you he's kind of an emotionally sensitive person that's aware of the environment with a bleeding heart, but then comes through and tells you he's hard. Now, I'm going to tell you, as a marketing person, as like a 48 Laws of Power student type of guy, that's some genius shit. That is actually a really smart way to approach life. Let them know that you have a heart, and then let them know not to fuck with you.
Right.
So many people start with the "you can't fuck with me," that nobody ever sees that they have a heart. And I think that's a beautiful thing that he did with this project. Maybe I'm reaching, but that's how I feel. All right, Chris, you can go first this time because Bonnie went first last time.
This is a banger. Straight off the bat. Like, stop that, start that, get that, what? Been there, done that, had that, what?
Cadence is hype. It's a banger.
It's a banger. What I really, really like is how he uses the what. That emphasis and ad-lib, the emphasis on that ad-lib is just crazy because that brings the energy and that don't fuck with me hype on this track. Like, it's not like come at me or get at me or anything like that. It's like, what? Like, what's your issue? Wagwan, what's going on? Like, just like he said in the last track. So
honestly,
I like how he's very consistent with that.
Yo, I took that what? Like, the fuck you gonna do?
Same
That's
shit.
how I took that what? It's I don't know, man. I took it like it's a fuck you challenge. Like that's what that what was to me.
I mean, yeah, like I can see that as well. I feel like it's
check
just
it, pretty girl, buff girl, doggy, that what? Like it's just what I fucking do. I'm gonna take that girl. What the fuck you gonna do about it? This is how I do it. The fuck you gonna do? I'm boss.
For sure. And that's kind of the whole premise of the whole track, really, is just he's kind of laying down how much he's a boss. What I like was in the second verse, there's kind of like this tone shift, right? So the first verse you got like he's a boss and he's like ready to take your girl, he's ready to do what he's got to do, bad boy forever, like Sean Puffy Combs. That's dope. Shouting out P Diddy, that's cool. Inside outside running all zones. That's kind of makes sense to me because I'm like that's what I hear a lot in the UK rap. Like they're out here, they're running their zones. They got to do what they got to do to survive.
So hold up, are you saying that lots of dudes heard that bar and was inspired and then incorporated it into their music?
Like you could say that. Like from what I understand, you could say that, but like I think that's just a natural slang for them. Like running, like for like when they say, I got mans and the ends, it's just their slang. It's just I got people over there. I got people them ways. Like I'm running all zones. It's like different sectors. Like I could say that about even Montreal in terms of like our different cities, our different.
I think people get the sense that they're suburbs.
Right. Basically, that boy's arrogant. Send for the chrome. Come
Not
barefoot
suburbs,
like Fred
but,
Flintstone. That's dope. Like,
why is
just
it dope? You can't just read the lyrics and say that's dope, Chris. You gotta have a qualitative analysis here.
First off, I'm biased because he says Chrome and I'm Chris Chrome, but that's not really it. But he basically saying like, yo, if you're arrogant with me and you're gonna talk around, I feel like he's saying two things. One, don't fuck with him because he's arrogant and he's gonna have to use the gun and he's gonna have to send for the Chrome. It means you're gonna have to go and get your shooter because Chrome is gun. But I think when he's sending for it, he's got his man. He's going to go for it. Come barefoot like Fred Flintstone. And I think it's more like that emphasis, like, yo, I got savages. Like, they're on site. They're ready to come kill you. They don't care if they got shoes or not. I think barefoot is also supposed to relate to like bareface as well. Like, there was one rapper who's like, yo, when they come for you with a mask, they're gonna take your chain, but when they come for you with no mask, they're taking your life, because like, you can identify them and stuff. So it could be like a connection to that. Like Fred Flintstone. I like that little Flintstones connection. That was super cool. You got Big Gun, come bring it out.
Chris, we're not going to go through all the bars. Talk about the
song.
song.
It's all savage. It's all savagery in the first verse. But then we get to the bridge, which I felt like was to hype up a lot of the people. Boys, girls, start moving. Come on, girls, boys, start moving. All right. Like, it just felt like to get them going and partying, but also feeling that thuggishness and that griminess to it. But the second verse was like, got Screwface all night, all day. Screwface keeps baddies at bay. Like, I feel like Screwface means the party's kind of ending, and now he's at the end of the night.
He explains Screwface the whole verse, Chris. Screwface is literally, his face is screwed up, like he's got a mean mug. That's what Screwface means. That's what he says. He says it flat out in the track.
I understand that he's saying that. I'm saying, like, the way I'm taking the song looks like he's kind of having a good time in the first verse, and everything's like still, yo, I'm badass, I'm bumping. And then in the bridge, right, it kind of feels like it's a party type bridge. And then in the second verse, yes, he's talking about mean mugging and shit, but I feel like the night came to an end. People are all fucked up, and he's like on his mean mug trying to make sure shit ain't gonna pop off. And he's also maybe a little litty too. I thought the song was dope though. I thought the song was actually really, really dope. I like the way he spits it. I like that high energy. I like how he says "stop that," like just taking charge.
Now we talking about the song,
acting like a legitimate commander. Like that was super, super dope for me. I gave this a 4.6. Like, super banger for me.
All right, Bonnie, how do you feel about this one?
Nice. I like the production. It's like super awesome. And like, one thing I want to say is that he does, I think, the majority of the production, if not all the production.
Oh shit, I didn't even catch that
on this album. So
good call.
Fucking awesome. Like, I mean, even if you're like a production person first and then rapper, like, I don't know, I think it's really cool that he's able to do both and just like make his music the way he wants to hear it, and like really like create his vision. So
which I think does play a good role.
That, I guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the beats are like super unique and like so cool, and like they definitely like have like such a vibe. And like this one is like no exception. Half of like what I'm saying I kind of missed just because like I found the beat and the vocals like almost felt like interwoven, like it was like really like well done, like it just kind of made one sound. It wasn't like the vocals were louder than anything else. And like he is like kind of repetitive in this one, like as in like not like in terms of like his lyrics, but like kind of like what he's doing, like kind of like the sound of it.
Okay.
And yeah, there's just like lots of energy in this track. You know, he talks about his screw face because he's not impressed, and he's kind of like, okay. And yeah, I feel like I'm still like getting used to like his vocals and like the quickness and everything. For me, like I didn't really find like too much like meaning in like some of his lyrics this time, but I didn't go through every single one. Okay, I give it a 4.35.
I don't even know. I feel like this song, I got a completely different thing out of it.
Cool.
Okay, so this track's first verse, yeah, there's a party vibe to the sense of the instrumental, right?
I didn't say party vibe.
I mean,
an
just
energy.
To go with like where Chris is going for it. But look at the bars off the brum. Stop that, start that, get that, been there, done that, had that. He's got a Nokia. Let's swap that in for, an iPhone. Come on. Like, because Nokia once was cool. It just dated this shit a little bit. Take that. This is boss man shit. This is like,
we can't swap that. I think like there is
Chris, a Nokia was a hot shit phone in 2003. The reason
Nokia is really
if y'all
popular
let me finish my point, y'all understand why it doesn't matter what phone model it is. The point is, he's looking at materialistic people chasing a bunch of big man shit, walking around flossy, like how much your watch cost, we're gonna get your watch lost, or whatever the fucking DMX bar is. He's got an okay, take that. He wants to floss his fucking wealth around me? I'll show you what that is, because I am the boss. Oh, your girl's good? I'm gonna take that. I am the man. I am coming through. I call this shots like Top Cat. I don't know what Top Cat is, but I assume it's something that calls shots. But I guess it's the lead person.
It's like Top Boy.
Anyway, I'm a rude boy. Don't prove that. So what he's trying to say here, I think, in his first verse is a little bit, y'all's a little bit me back in the day. I'm the boss man coming through. So honestly, it doesn't matter what phone it is. That was the hot phone in 2003. He jacked that shit because you were flashing it in his face when you shouldn't have been. That's fire. Like, and he has this attitude. And again, if you listen to all these bars, it's a little bit of show humility because you almost don't know who you're dealing with. And if you are going to approach him, step correct. That's what I got from that boy's arrogant sent from the corner. That boy, I feel like he's looking at that dude did not come to me correct. We're going to take him out. So that's how I felt the whole first verse. So I'm not necessarily feeling that he's having a good time in the beginning. I think he's actually looking around at these people who are going out and partying and doing things, and their priorities may be a little twisted. So he's trying to let you know to come correct. Now, what I love about that chorus is, come on, don't stop till you're bleeding. You know, come on, don't stop till it hurts. Like, not just go dance. When you grind until it's fucking done. If you're going to dance, go that hard with it, you know? That's how I took from it. And then if you think about the high energy of this music, it really is like you're supposed to, like, you're wilding out. Like, it's basically like shadow boxing is how fucking hard you have to go to dance to this stuff. And the tempo is so fast and so high, and I love the energy that it brings to the table. And then you get to that second verse, which is just the best warning I ever heard. And actually, I thought about it from a communication front. He's basically kind of pointing out he's got a screw face on, and then the rest of it lets people know that his mean mug when you see this, and he communicates what your intentions is going to be. And it's just shit like, I don't want to talk, just leave me alone, I just want to go away. If I had this look on my face, my screw face, which I have all the time because my environment's whatever and I'm feeling a kind of way, it just means show that respect and understand the situation. And I feel like it's really courteous of him to so early on in the project, and just kind of the way he's looking at people, to even just show. So first we have the environment, then in this next track we have, listen, this is who I am, and let me give you some fair warnings. This is what I feel when you see this face. This is how I feel. Which, when do you hear the rapper really take the time to explain his emotional state behind his mean mug? So that's why, Chris, I was like, with the screw face, that's like a really deep shit. It's like, you know, like every line adds to it. Now, the repetition is something I find in grime that is, like, it can hip hop that might, like in the New York side, let's say that might get dissed for how repetitious it is, but I just think it fucking works. Like, I don't know if it would get dissed, but I think it just works on this. And then overall, he kind of ends on a flossier front, whatever. But the overall point is that he is established and better, of a higher quality, because he's been on that young man game, and now he's a little bit older, and he's tired of that shit, is kind of what I took from all of that.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe, like, I just liked it a lot, though. I felt like it's a vibe. I felt like it's definitely workout music. Like, that's a huge thing for me. Like, I got into dancing lately. Like, this is some shit where, like, at the speed and the tempos it's going, you just gotta move. And I think it does a lot musically. His delivery is fresh. It's on point. He's really, like, perfect with his rhythm and his delivery. I don't know. I like it a lot. And what I like is that it doesn't sound anything like the last track. And the truth is, the next track doesn't sound anything like this track either. So, anyway, everybody, I love you. All right, Bonnie. This one is a ladies' jam of sorts. Of sorts. How do you feel about it? Because you know I love you, right?
Yeah. This beat is hype.
Yeah.
So much energy, and I love, like, the remix, like, sort of, or like the auto tune or whatever it is, of like the I love you, that like Jeanine Jacques does. You know, and it starts off with a like 15-year-old girl showing up claiming to be pregnant, and it was like, you know, his like stupid, you know, I don't know if it's him or if I think it's just like a guy that he's talking about that he knows, or like a situation that, you know, somebody's been in or whatever, and this, like, you know, guy, you know, it was his stupid move to like tell her that he loved her and like shit like that, and she's just kind of like playing him a little bit, and she's a bit of a hoe. And, you know, just because like he said he loves her, she feels like she can manipulate him a little bit and get something out of him, you know, even if the kid might not be his, because, you know, she's a bit of a hoe. And, you know, all like his friends are like talking about this chick, and, you know, she's like always down, like always ready to go, like giving out blowjobs and whatever. And, you know, I think they even run a train on her. And, you know, they've all been with her, and I don't know, like, it's like such a funky song, and the topic is like super, it's interesting and something that I suppose like happens when you get like caught up in the moment and end up saying, some dangerous words like I love you. I don't know. It's a tight song. Like regardless of like even like what it's about, like just listening to it, it's super cool. And Jeanine does a great job on this one. So I give it a 4.8 on 5.
And how do you feel, Chris?
I agree with Bonnie. The part where you said kind of like living in the moment and saying dangerous things like I love you. Because I don't think this is about just one girl. I think this is about a type of girl who acts like this, maybe promiscuous, maybe kind of just independent and does what she wants to do, which I respect and support that. I don't think that Dizzee is really like trying to be disrespectful. I think he's taking this moment to kind of like just show his own personal feelings towards these types of women. So first verse,
what
we
can
kind of
happen when you say those words?
Yeah, so like the first verse, we got like, yo, if that girl knows where you stay, that's poor. Some whore banging on your door. What for? Pregnant? What you're talking about? Be sure. 15, she's underage. That's raw. So it's like he does have this story aspect to it, and he does have like this kind of building up to a narrative that he's trying to explain. And I guess this also does play part in maybe like terms of being underage and trying to like sleep around or something. Maybe that could be like her education, or maybe that's just kind of
like,
what happened.
Y'all are fucking underage girls indiscriminately is what I believe he's going for.
And like saying I love you to a 15-year-old girl, whether or not she's a hoe, like, they're like more vulnerable.
He's criticizing some dudes here with this verse. Like it's like I'm gonna have to say this isn't about the girls. This is about the guy. This whole track is directed at men. It is not directed at women.
Just
in
be careful.
Opinion. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't mean to cut you off there, but at that point, it's really like, what are you talking about? Be sure, 15, she's underage, that's raw. And then the next line, and against law, 5 years or more. Like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Is kind of what he's saying to people. Like, you banged this girl, told her you loved her, gave her your address, and now this underage girl who can put you in jail is showing up and asking for stuff.
How claiming to be pregnant.
How not cool are you? You know what I'm saying?
No, I feel you. I see that. Like, I agree. I think there is that sort of teaching moment where he's trying to express like some of this shit y'all are doing is fucked up. I think where I got confused was because in the third verse, right, he kind of breaks down like, listen, I like your girl, so you better look after your girl, or I might just take your girl and make your girl my girl. And I'm not like, switch your girl with Michelle with Chantel, play Chantel with Chanel. So for there, I was like, I kind of took it as like, he's rich, he's got girls around him, and these women kind of like enjoy, I guess, the fame and stardom, right? Then he mentions it, hold on, and then he continues, right? And then he goes, that's girls from school, that's girls from college, that girl gives brain, that girl gives knowledge. That girl gives head. That girl gives.
I'm just gonna say it's one of the best blowjob bars. I love this so much.
No, of course, and that girl gives BJs at all times. So I feel like even with that line, he could be giving that reference in the beginning, the first verse with like that super story. I agree, but I think there is this aspect that he is speaking of like women that may be coming back now that he's rich, or women who have been like this, and he's kind of just
like there's so much more to the track, right? Because like you're cherry picking the first verse and then you're jumping completely over to the second verse, you're skipping the chorus completely. You're like skipping all the song to like cherry pick a couple of points and make a connection. I can understand how that would be confusing. But yo, this song is like sequentially stacked in a way that makes a total bunch of sense. So like in the first verse, it prefaces it being like, this is the reality that we're all living in, where people are discussing or treating women this way. And look, I've been to raves, right? Like back in the day, where like there are 14-year-old girls high on things around you, and you're like 18, 19, maybe older. Right. The opportunity is in your face, and you could walk up to this girl if you're not having a good night and do a thing. I'm not encouraging this behavior. I'm saying if you're 18, 19, these guys are especially all over. Hell, you could probably find them in 25 is what I'm trying to say. So this is kind of looking at it. And then if I'm not mistaken, women in the UK get a house if they have a kid. So it adds like a whole extra context to that world of women might be trying to trap you, dude. And then once they have you, this. So it ties into a whole other realm of stuff. Then you got the chorus, where I feel like we're moving a little bit into Dizzee now. We've left him, and the rest of the song is Dizzee versus men. The girls, and then so the chorus a little bit is this girl. It's kind of like, and I love the way Jeanine Jacques raps that chorus. Like, come on, guys, that was fucking amazing. She fucking fire on this shit, all right? Like, why are we not giving her the props? But he's saying, yo, this is some girl. She's calling me up. And it's kind of now describing how he sees these chicks from his perception, giving you the perspective of like, because, yo, check it. After this song, I Googled, did he get married? He did not get married. He's never been married.
Really?
Because he basically says, I think it's in this track or another track, like, I'm not getting married. This is it. Maybe it's the Roundabout song. So Round We Go. It was in that track. I looked it up. And he's kind of like, yo, I'm never getting married. Girls is like this. This is how I treat them. Boom, boom, boom. So he has this, like, mentality about how he's, I guess, bossing up and approaching it. So you see that in the second, right? She's bad girl. I'm boss though, you know? And then just to give you a context, now it's about him. And then the rest of that verse is basically like, check it, girls like me, I don't love no hoes, okay?
Apparently
she ain't my wifey, she can
was going
go.
to get married to Alexa Chung.
But his wiki page had no marriage on it. That's what I saw. But anyway, so you look at the rest of that, he's basically like, yo, I'm a straight up, you can fuck me and bounce type guy. I got no this. I'm not like that. I'm not about the money. I'm just here for the fun of it. You can't take my shit. And if you think about what he's saying is he's giving you kind of game on how to approach women that may be trying to manipulate you so that you don't hand over stuff. And he's helping you, again, this whole album is educational. He's trying to help you navigate the circumstances of it. And then in the third verse, I feel like, yo, check it. I'm the kind of fly dude, so check it. I'm so cool. I'm going to take your girls. And then kind of gives a bit of a context into how he sees it, because he is this player. He is moving through it all. So while you're so caught up on loving these girls that you think are going to be wifey and you think are going to be this stuff, just be careful how you treat her, because one wrong move and he's going to come through and sweep it. Did you really think about that? Did you really think that fact that your girl might be getting lined up like that? So again, I think it's back to the men, right? And I think it's basically saying to these men, this is maybe kind of girls you should avoid a little bit and understand who you're dealing with. So I thought it was really well rounded in terms of contextualize that. I thought it was a really fire song. And I didn't mean to cut you off, Chris. I just had to chime in on that point. Anyway, because I even wrote notes. Verse 1, loser dudes. Verse 2, how a boss plays. Verse 3, I'm a boss taking shit. That was my breakdown of the track, right? And I saw that like progression going, which is why the third verse and the first verse just don't connect to each other while connecting in the realms of being a bigger track. Still, just to get grade, 4.5. I like the beat, and a lot of my grades are not on Dizzee. A lot of my grades are absolutely going to be on the beat. So if I'm giving it a 5, it means that beat had me so fucking dancing I almost broke my back today, and then this just had me dancing normal in the sense of vibe.
So essentially, you're still grading down Dizzee because he also makes the beats.
I guess a little bit, but still, 4.5, 90%. This is a freaking banger tune, okay? So far. Honestly, spoilers, this is one of the best albums I ever heard on this channel. And we're like, I don't know, 500 albums in for me or something like that. So this is a standout project in my opinion. And I love the fact that on almost every song, well, I mean, it gets a little less so I can kind of go on like this later on. But y'all know that, like, it just hit me. And as Chris pointed out, that whole blowjob bars, oh my gosh, they're so good. Anyway, Chris, I think you might have more to say about your grades and stuff. I don't know.
I gave this a 4 on 5. I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was super cool, but I guess just the way that I kind of interpreted the track was just like, I guess like I didn't really take time to break it down, because for me it just kind of felt like we running through hoes. These type of women are here, and this is kind of like what they do. Now I do see the aspect of like him speaking to the men, which I guess like I could have also taken that too a little bit. But I felt like it was like, because they're here and because they want like that type of stardom, that fame, that adrenaline, that rush or whatever, like that's what I provide. I just, I come through.
So I'll give it to you. He actually does say that in that verse, but the way the framing is what I debated a little bit.
Right.
No, of course. I agree exactly with what you said. So like, I gave this a 4 on 5. It wasn't like one of the ones that really was like boom, 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 boom to me, but still good. So Gucci. Every day's a brand new day, Holden.
I don't know if it's all Gucci.
You
Oh,
bet
you
it
did
is.
it. You just did it. I'm a loser. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just comment on the dingliness of this beat and how good it is? Also, apparently there was a music video for the last track. I didn't watch it. My bad.
I do want to comment on how, like, just with that beat as well,
The
a lot
dinglies?
so far, yeah, but like not just the dingly beat, the whole project so far, we're on track 4, and it's like there's always this, even if the lyrics are grimy and the lyrics are kind of dark and he's trying to bring this message, there's a nice contrast with the upbeat type of music that is there. So I
Facts.
really just wanted to give that point out. But how did you feel about this, Holden?
I'm not starting, dog. I'm going to talk a lot. So, Bonnie, why don't you tell us how you feel about this?
All right. So, he's kind of talking about that, he's losing his friends, he's troubled, he's going through some times here, and, he's praying. They're not kids anymore, and, they have some wild shit that they're dealing with and have gone down different roads, and, people are making choices and doing what they got to do. And he's kind of reflecting, I guess. Like he's, it's a brand new day, and he's, he's here, he's doing his thing. He could have gone down a different path. He could have gotten into drugs and drinking and, gotten heavy into these things. But he's caring, and he's trying to bring attention to the kind of life that him and others are living in London, and like their circumstances. And that life is hard and full of choices, and easy choices and hard choices, and you can't take like everyone with you on your journey, I suppose. Like that's kind of like what he's saying is like, sometimes you have to like cut ties so that you can be more free to do what you need to do and get out of like the life that you don't want to be in. So sometimes, unfortunately, like if you're with people and your crew and whatever, and if they're not kind of living the same lifestyle as you, sometimes you need to let them go because they could be holding you back. So that's kind of what I was thinking about. So I like the beat a little bit less on this one. Maybe it's like the tingy tings or whatever, but it doesn't mean that it's bad. It's still cool. And I give this one a 4.35 on 5.
All right, Chris,
Nice,
how do you feel
nice.
about this masterpiece of a song?
Yeah. Let's hear it.
I kind of agree with Bonnie. Like the beat itself is good. Like I said, I do like how it's like this positive aspect compared to what he's really saying on the track. But it just kind of got a little annoying a bit at times. And I think it really took away from what he was, I guess, trying to say. Now, in terms of him producing this, according to Genius, I think that it was great. I like his attempt at what he was doing instrumentally and everything. So that was cool. But it just didn't really sit with me. Now, what I did like about Dizzee Rascal on this track was how, kind of dropping some knowledge and wisdom, right? So, like, intro, he was like, "Yo, MCs better start chatting about what's really happening, because if you ain't chatting about what's happening, where you live in, what you talking about." I felt like he was trying to address like there's certain things that maybe MCs or rappers are not really talking about in the area that should be discussed about. That whatever, crime, drug rate, this, that, and he's really kind of bringing home that point, like, well, I'm gonna discuss about this, because and I know it's gonna be a hot summer, so like maybe not just in terms of the weather, but really the aspect of people on the streets or on road, as they call it. So that's kind of what I got from that. And then I like how he even addresses that it may even be hotter in the winter, in terms of like that savage mode where like not everybody can be out 24/7. Not everybody can make their money at certain times because of the weather change, the cold, the circumstances, which kind of gave me this aspect of like, you got to adapt. If you're going to survive, if you're going to make it through, you really got to adapt to what's happening. So I felt that. I felt that a lot.
I love how the next slide is, I ain't even talking about the weather.
Exactly. I like how in the first verse we start off, looks like I'm losing friends. There's a lot of hostility in my ends.
Chris, what's the verse about? Without reading the bars, what's the verse about?
Well, like, I like how he's basically just expressing the change in when you're grinding, when you're progressing, and how when you start kind of moving forward, you see people lose, you see people getting cut off, you see people leaving you, or maybe you may be leaving those people because they're not really on that same type of wavelength, which I thought was really, really dope. I thought that it kind of shows you the change in how people grow on different paths. I like how he showed that like extreme escalation from now we settle just we used to argue, always make up and be friends. Now we settle disagreement with skanks, which is a gun.
Yes.
So it's interesting how like that escalation is serious, and it really shows like friends are a thing that is like an ideology more than a solid factor, is what I took from that. Like you don't really know who your friends are until you're in like a quote unquote war or a shootout, is where I kind of saw that when things get really, really heavy or hostile. So that was really, really,
just to like respond to that, like
Right.
to me it was more like, yo, we used to kind of like back to that first track. It used to be like we chilled and we played and the environment was this, but now things are so hot and things are so crazy, because when he's talking about hot, I took hot as crime, as in like there's a lot of shit going on, people are dying, things are scary, and like it's just gonna get worse, you know. So now all of a sudden like people have escalated the means on how to handle a situation, and it used to be we could just, you know, duke it out and we're back to being boys, but unfortunately now the guns come out,
Right.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
But then,
to me, it was just more environmental, and it was a time,
Right.
you know.
what I did like is how in the chorus there's this, with the beat being happy and everything in a sense. I like how he kind of full circles it and goes, but it's a brand new day, new opportunities, and he's like trying to show you like if you really stay determined, if you really progress forward and you push through, that you could really get through the struggle in a sense, through the toxic environment, through these things. Which I like where he says, I plan to make my paper, put some away for a off-key day,
Yeah.
where you don't really hear a lot of that nowadays. A lot of days it's like, nowadays it's like spend it, flashy things, chains, cars, blah, 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 blah. And he's kind of showing you like, yo, you got to invest, or you got to save, more or less. Like you really got to save. You know, the idea of like put it in your mattress or something for a rainy day type mentality, right? Which I thought was super, super cool. Like more knowledge, more wisdom on how to actually get through.
You want to invest your money though, don't put it in your mattress. You're actually going to lose money by putting it in your mattress on inflation.
Fair enough. But I like that mentality. I like how he's showing, like, he's kind of giving you that contrast of like, this is kind of the dark and nitty gritty of what's going on, the griminess, and this is how you can kind of on your own make it through. But these are also the consequences of like losing friends and finding out who your ops are and stuff like that. I thought it was super dope. Like it's really reminiscent about the past and really has a lot of kind of connections that really just go together. And you can kind of just see again, like I hate to be repetitive, but like that change, just like I think everybody can relate to this in a way of just like moving forward in life and being like, I've lost friends because of X, Y, Z. Maybe not directly to what he's doing, but just that common feeling of like, yeah, you know, I stopped doing drugs and I lost some people that didn't want to move forward, or, you know, I stopped doing this, or
Is that a common feeling, Chris? Is that a common feeling? You said the common feeling of I stopped doing drugs and I lost friends. Is that a common feeling?
I mean, no, it's not a common feeling. I was just like, I'm saying the common feeling of just losing friends. I was just making some hyperbolic example. I apologize. But just the idea of like losing friends while you grow and your circle gets smaller because of certain changes is what I kind of got from this. And I thought it was super dope. Again, I like the positive energy in terms of it's a brand new day, brush it off, continue moving forward. 4.3 on 5.
Okay, so I just think first of all, this album has a serious concept going on, and it's meant to kind of drag you in a direction of expressing that point of view of the boy in the corner and be like a survival guide. First of all, y'all, in my opinion, are crazy. This shit's a 5. Like, this is a fucking amazing tune. This is one of the best on the album. The way he rides the beat, the way he layers the chorus, the way he just flows everything in, the way it just mixes it so perfectly, everything's so crisp. There's a vibe to this, right? Like, that is really sincere to me. I don't know how y'all don't have to like it. Y'all don't have to agree with me. But I think y'all are missing out on some great songwriting up on this one.
Well, I thought the last song was a 4.8, and Chris gave it a 4.
I give it a 4.5. I was with you. My fault. Like, listen, I'm with you. Good stuff. Okay, I'm with you. But anyway, what I really think is interesting about this track though is like he kind of starts off like Chris said with that challenge to people, but like use your platform for good. Now that's something that's important to me. Like that's why I think Griselda's dope, because I find they use their platform to teach people swag in the middle of being swaggy, and like there's an attitude I like in hip hop that I think is part of that cultural aspect of it. So I think it's really cool that he kind of hears about that. Like, look, shit's serious. What the fuck are y'all doing? Anyway, but then like in the verse, yes, I do feel there's the sense of like change happening, but I also feel like there's a sense of, again, diagnosing the situation. Like, I kind of wish that we were all cool. I kind of wish things were a certain way, but it's really not. It's not that. Like, so I look out my window and pray every night. I thank God for my friends, but they ain't tight. So it's like they're not okay. People aren't okay. People are desperate. Like the world is kind of set up in a way that is not allowing people to thrive and prosper, creating this environment. But then you get to but it's a brand new day, new opportunities. What can I say? I feel like he's reflecting on himself and how he's approaching the future and how he's going to navigate through this. I'm going to get my money and put it away. But these cats aren't thinking like that, which is maybe leading into this thing. But then he has that, listen, my favorite part of this thing, and I think a lot of rappers need to know this. First of all, don't pay to perform. Don't buy that $100 tickets. It's a good model for a promoter. It's a bad model for a rapper. Instead, demand, collect, cash up front, direct, pay money, pay respect, don't insult my intellect. Right? That's some fucking advice. That's how you approach a situation. A, it's a warning. If you want to deal with me correct. But B, that's how you should treat yourself. And so I love what he's doing with this. And then he goes back into like, you know, the context of maybe why he's feeling this way, you know? And I don't want to go like too deep into it. Y'all covered it. It's a lot of this like pregnant girls who think they love, useless mans with no plans, and we ain't kids no more. You know, will it be about what is right now? Because, you know, it's just kind of contextualizing and painting it. But it's almost like from a perspective of, yo, I'm the one sitting here watching this as I thrive and prosper and y'all are there, but I'm going to just take advantage of it. And I'm grateful that I was able to figure it out. I'm grateful, yo, like mad thoughts skip around my head like dancers. Can we just not talk about how good that bar is? Like, that's a use of imagery that's cool. It contextualizes something I think a lot of people can understand and visualize girls dancing, but also the erratic nature, the shakiness of it. That's how his brain is. It's fucking crazy with it. So I really love it. And then the way he goes, I know it's too long to answer, but I know it's too long to question, but I need answers. The who's, the what's, the how's, the when's, the why's. You can look in my face and see pain in my eyes. So it's like there's this empathy to it. This isn't just like, oh, the changes of the world are happening. Oh, it's like, yo, this is fucked up, and I know how I'm gonna make it through, but it's really bad, and we all need to think different or we're fucked. Is kind of how I'm taking this in a bigger sense of this track. Anyway, I think it's powerful and I think it flows through. But even the outro, it's like he's just done and he just fucking spit this hot fire, and then he's like, yo, I'm done this one. It's done. Bring on the next one. Like, you're just in the booth with all that energy. Like, I really think it's a brilliant experience to go through on this track. Anyway, that's all I gotta say about that one. And the next one does feature the homeboy Wiley, and that's exciting because I do know who Wiley is. We done did at least one Wiley review. So let's talk about Too Far. So Chris, what do you think about the track Too Far?
It's got your boy.
Honestly, I don't really have much to say about it besides that it's really, really hype. This song really revitalized the album for me a little bit, just brought it back and was like, yes, okay, we're back into that energy, we're back into that vibe, we're back into like being hype again for me. That's pretty much really it. Like,
cool.
I felt like, so hold on, I felt like for bar was super wild. I feel like Dizzee and Rascal, I think Dizzee looks up to Wiley. So it was like,
why?
Wiley?
Can't say something like that and just leave it vapid and hanging.
Because there's a line, and I think it was the last track that he's like, shout out to my brother Wiley, or maybe it could be in this song. But I feel like Wiley's been around a lot longer than Dizzee, just in terms of like projects and albums. So I feel like Dizzee does look up to Wiley, and like they have the same type of style. So having them both on this track was really, really super dope for me. But I don't really have much to actually say. It was just super hype. Like, it's just fun to listen to. I like the Ninja Turtle line just because I like Ninja Turtles, and that was really it. I gave this a 4.5 on 5.
So I mean, I don't know how many projects Wiley had before, but it seems like they were kind of like starting around the same time. I don't know. All y'all watching who actually know the answer to questions like that, rather than just leave the statement hanging, feel free to correct us. Let us know. Did Dizzee Rascal look at the Wiley? Were they part of the scene together? Because this is the kind of stuff we should be looking up before we say stuff like that on this stream. Self-awareness and stuff. Bonnie, how do you feel about the track?
Well, the bass on this one and the beat is just like so good. So good. And like he's such like a quick rapper. Like he's just like quick. I'm going to sing you this and it's going to go like that and and it's going to be like that. And he's just like quick and British. And like he's not about violence and but he will be violent if you come at him, like I'm just saying. And he's gonna destroy everyone, and I like that he kind of talks about and basically like rejects Queen Elizabeth. Because personally I like Queen Elizabeth.
I can't stand her,
but like, and I get that she's also like not really brought up on like this side of the pond too much, especially like in rap. Like, I mean, she doesn't really necessarily have a lot of relevancy to America and in terms of like what she does, but like she's a little bit she's on our money here, so up in Canada. And but yeah, anyways, so that's what it is. And Wiley is like just as tight as Dizzee. I find like their flows are just like perfect together, like they're great. This is definitely like another one that like hits hard, and like I love this beat, and like the production on this one rocks, and the flow is super tight. So another 4.8 on 5 from me.
Alright, so there's a lot to unpackage, I think, in this track, because like to me, again, it follows the story along, right? So the last track, it kind of does that, like like how like sometimes you'll have pockets on an album where it almost creates a dichotomy of ideas, right? So Brand New Day shows the world is changing, we need a new way of thinking about it. And now Too Far is again introducing that new way of thinking about it, and that's what I like about the flow of these songs as they sequence together. I had to think a little bit about the start. We gotta actually do the beginning parts, because he says some strong shit. Yo, I don't promote no violence, but if that boy gets arrogant, I'll leave that boy in the basement. Fair enough. That I'm pretty sure people were like whatever on. So whatever. But then I'm not a female beater, but if that girl gets feisty, I'll slap that girl all hasty, because she might be buff, but she not rough. And then he kind of he said that, and I'm like, okay. That's a really interesting line, right? Because it's not something you hear promoted a lot. He's not encouraging the beating of women. It honestly sounds like he's encouraging the self-defense against a woman who wants to attack him, which is a fascinating thing to bring up in 2003, considering how trending that topic has been in terms of memes and things I've seen on the internet recently. And so I thought a lot about it, and then I'm like, that's actually a cool point of view. Like, I'm not really one that would hit a girl, even in self-defense, because of some programming, but that's kind of illogical, like, if you think about it. And I'm not saying hit a girl, but like, maybe that idea of never, ever, ever has like a caveat or two that should be put in, and I'm not encouraging it, but he said that, and it made me think, like the way he toned it, it's like, listen, I will calm you down. It doesn't even sound like he's gonna beat her, it just sounds like he's gonna hold her, go calm down, relax. And it was this track that had the where I googled the wife thing, because he goes, marriage, love, wife, please, all that is stupid, plus I don't believe in Cupid. And then I saw, oh yeah, look at that, it never really did happen to that. He really is this kind of guy, consistent. And a couple things, like he said, like another part of the album, in case I forget to say it, I'm gonna keep doing this forever. And then I realized he dropped an album last month. He really is still doing this to this day. It's so fucking cool when you see a guy in like 2003 be like, I'm gonna be this shit for like the rest of my life, and then it's still relevant. Well, I don't know if he's relevant, but he's still out there all this time later. That was so cool. The chorus was fine. I just felt like, yo, don't give me no attitude, whatever, don't come at me, I am the shit, fuck you. It was fine. Yep. But yo, I like you said about the Queen, but I don't obey no policeman because they forget they're human, etc. He ain't got no gun, I'll kick him and run. So again, police brutality, the kind of stuff that is maybe a little more common than it should be in life. Yep. But like the idea of the lack of gun is so different than our reality. Can we just see that for a second? Yep. Like if you kick the cop here, it could go very, very different is all I'm trying to say. You could
lose your life.
I was alluding to that. Mm-hmm. It was my illusion. But yes,
that is what I meant.
What are you gonna say?
Never mind. Go
anyway, I don't know. Anyway, I just thought it was strong, man. And it's not that he likes violence. It's just that he, like, there's too much violence and I can't stand nonsense. It's more like, y'all act in a way, and if I have to protect myself, I will. Now, I found that really reminiscent of the attitude of early, like, 90s hip-hop, that golden era shit, right? Where it's often not, I'm going to go fuck you up in an aggressive fashion. It's, if you come for me, I will defend myself adequately. And I love that distinction. Third verse is cool. I feel like he's just taking your girl. He's just doing well. It's all that stuff. Rascal's raw like red meat. Get it? I don't know. I like that line. I just thought it was fun because I've never heard anybody say that before. Then you get Wiley popping in, and I thought it was interesting because without Wiley's verse, this is still basically a full track. But with Wiley's verse, it wasn't too long. And I thought that was super cool. Like, that was an interesting thing because, it's a 4-verse track. Like, that.
But it's just so quick, so you don't even mind.
And then I feel like Wiley's just fire. Like, Wiley comes through with this complexity to his flow that, like, where it made me realize that Dizzy's very smooth with his flow. Very, like, whatever. Wiley took more of, like, almost a Tech 9 approach to the way he delivered it. Not to say he's like Tech 9, but the way he chopped it up a little more. And I really fucking loved it. As far as his bars, I don't have anything to comment on them. I just thought it all sounded fine. Overall, this is another great track. Overall, I can't think of much else for it. The beat's banging. Sorry, I forgot what I get. 4.5 on 5. Anyway, yeah.
Fix up, looks up.
That's the next one. My word, this track is fantastic. He samples the Big Beat by Billy Squier, which is where all the woos come from.
Woo!
And the loud, big kind of feel to it. Oh my word. Like, it's a good, I don't know, 2-steppy vibe. Like, you could, I don't know if that's the right word. I feel like you can get a good slow 2-step onto this. I was bouncing around the room listening to this, but as Chris had pointed out a little bit earlier, this is proof to the pudding of the versatility of this man's production. This sounds like so left field sonically that I almost questioned if I was on the same album for a second. But yet, I feel like it works and makes the experience even better.
Yep.
All right, Christopher, how did you feel about this one?
I really thought it was cool. I liked the boom bap feel to it. That whole old schoolness feeling really kind of gave me this visual of, like, him walking down the streets of London and, like, just being, like, the top dog, the top cat, really, you know, and just kind of enjoying the day. Also, I like how he's expressing to, like, fix up and look sharp. Like, just this idea throughout the song of presentation and, like, to move a certain way, more about this moving in the area you're at and always be vigilant, like keeping your head on a swivel. That was really, really something that I did enjoy. I like how he's, like, referring, where he says Dappa. I feel like he's referencing Dapper Dan, in terms of, like, being a designer, in terms of being, like,
I think he's referencing
like
the word
class?
dapper.
Yeah.
Because the word dapper is just exactly what he's using it for, right? And I think it might just, like, because Dapper Dan would have taken the word dapper and kind of applied it, right?
Right. I mean, there's that. But other than really just being super hype, I felt like this was just very consistent on the project. There wasn't much for me here in terms of taking away lyrics because I was just like, I like this so much as the sonically. I like this so much as the song itself more than just listening to the lyrics. Now, what I remember when I mentioned in the beginning, the whole Nike part, I literally just saw it. Be serious, you wouldn't last an hour in my shoes. It's an Air Force One, trainer by truckload, trainers by the ton. Like, it's not the first time that I've heard UK rappers reference Air Force One. So I just want to shout that out too. Like, I think it's part of their, like, it's part of part of their culture. So I did appreciate that. It gave me just, like, that connection to all the other all the other UK rappers I listened to as well, being very consistent in terms of, like, what's fashionable for them and stuff. But other than that, I gave this a 4 on 5. It was pretty solid. Just
Fun fact, Dizzee Rascal has had a fair number of Air Force One custom releases over time, so there's definitely a connection with that brand. I don't know when that started, but that's fucking cool. Thank you, Genius, for your annotations. Would you like to?
Sure. This one definitely has more of, like, a rock and roll vibe kind of going to it, like, just because of, like, the sample that's used, but it, like, totally works. and it's apparently about not like people not misbehaving because if you don't, like, he'll shoot you. And but I think it's also about like him and like his crew like being like the best, and kind of like that he and kind of like we previously kind of mentioned, like some people aren't with him anymore, and but like maybe he's built up this crew of people who really are like inspiring him, and like they're like cohesive kind of in like in terms of like what they're thinking about and like their actions and moving and like a team. And so I thought it was like maybe just about that as well. And, I suppose it could be about both. And don't fuck around because like he'll take you out, like sort of like in life and in the game. And like this is like something, we've heard before with other rappers, like just sort of like this style of a song. But yeah, the beat is like super amazing, and it's like super cool on this like totally like grimy rap album, and it totally is awesome. So I give this a 4.7 on 5.
I definitely like it. I feel like it is about behavior in terms of how you have to act and present yourself proper, right? And I think that's a little bit why he touches on the fashion. Like you can just see in the sense of the Air Force Ones, how I present myself. It's clean, it's pristine, But even to the way he ends the verse, chump, best to act like Forrest Gump, best to run. That's a good line, right? Because he's brought up all those shoe bars and the runners and all of that, right? Because I believe in the UK they're called runners. Yeah. So then adding on that, it's fucking cool. I feel like I don't have a lot to comment in terms of the depth of these bars either. I feel like it just flows proper. It's really enjoyable. He presents himself like, again, not to be fucked with. Overall, it is a lot more about the vibe of this track that I got into. I like the chorus. I like the overall tempo of it because it's slower. The track almost isn't so high energy. It's almost like proving, I can hit it up with different flows. I can be somebody different.
Right.
I definitely took Dapper. I don't know if it was in this track. I don't know if that was the last track, but I was just thinking about the Dapper line, and I'm like, yeah, Dapper is definitely fancy. I like that. It's a good word.
Hold on, like it just means like.
It's just presenter, like, because check
like
it.
when you're just dapper, it's
like
you're
when
like
you
handsome.
groom yourself and you make yourself look pristine. Like I remember it from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, and they had like the Dapper hair gel, and you would use like I think it was
like
Dapper Dan was the hair gel in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, and that confused me when I realized Dapper Dan was also a guy, because I had only known it from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, and it's like hair gel and shit. It's about making yourself look presentable and proper and things like that. So if you think about it, a person who takes a lot of effort to like present themselves, literally looking sharp, making your image look pristine, taking the time to do things, it shows you're a person who pays attention. I deliberately look scruffy. I know the advantages of not looking scruffy, but for me it's a tactical choice. But let's say like I want in the near future, it's going to always be super clean and pristine. Everything has to look proper because it gives off an impression. But so that's like one side of it. But then if you correlate that to how you treat people and behaviors and shit, then it kind of flows into the track. I don't know. I think it's pretty clear what this is about. I don't know if there's more to say. I gave it a 4.5. I just felt it had this great energy to it that just so far, this is a very strong start to the album. And again, it is giving a sense of advice with like, behave. Like just behave, people. Why do we have to misbehave so often? And then I guess the next track kind of takes a look at what happens if you choose to misbehave, keeping the story running so we could cut him off. I like the fact that on this track, it's almost like he's really rapping slow and heavy and like calm with it, and really, again, showcasing a completely different rhythmic style than a lot of what we have seen previously on the project. And just to Chris's point earlier, his versatility is going to be a consistent thing for me, because it's really hard to be that, in my opinion, track to track different as in the way he's doing it.
Right.
But what do you think about this, Bonnie?
Well, I like this one. He's sort of more like talking on this one, and it's slower. In terms of like beat and vocals, like he's definitely slower. He talks about smoking a lot, and he's saying like don't talk crap because he'll call you out, and him and his crew, like they come out on top no matter what happens. I don't know. I was a little bit less into this one. For me, like this was like the first sort of dip. on this album. Like it was a little bit boring, I guess, for me. Maybe just because like it's just been so hype, and then all of a sudden go a little bit more. So I give this one a 4.2 on 5.
And you, Mr. Christopher?
I thought this was really cool. Just the way he starts off the song with this like I socialize and negotiate, review the situation. Like he's taking that stance of a boss right now. He's telling you right off the bat that everything he does is calculated. So it doesn't sound to me right now that like the song is just cut off haters, cut off people that are not following. It's more like I've sat down, I've stewed in this, I've let it really kind of resonate, and now I've made a decision where I have to like you're not good for the cause. You're not really good for the movement. And that was something that I really, really thought was like boss about him.
So it's fuck the haters after you think about it.
Yeah, basically, but I don't even think it's haters. I think it's just like
Toxic
because
people.
yeah, or just people in general. Like cuz somebody might not be toxic in your life, but they're just not part of your growth. Like it's just they're not a bad person. They're not toxic. They're really good. It's just what they're doing may not be the same type of wave that you're on. So it's not like you're cutting them off because they're bad. It's just you ain't got time to really fucks with them like that because you're out here making other moves and stuff. It's like I want to be friends with everybody and have a good time, but I can't really do that because I'm trying to focus on
what you got from this song.
That's what I got from this song. That's what I really got from this track. I like how he also used his name Rascal, like his nickname, kind of giving you this persona of somebody different in terms of that, like what he may deal with on a different type of level. So that was cool. But really, it just seemed a lot like it was more how he's kind of moving and making decisions to move forward without having to bring some of this bad energy with him. I gave this a 4.3. I thought it was super cool just because of the darkness of the track. The way that it really kind of like still had that same type of boom bappy energy consistent with the rest of the album, but also darker. Just it wasn't like happy. It wasn't like these like ding 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 sounds. It was more like in the atmosphere of oh shit, like he's really being serious with this. Like he will have to cut you off. So yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, I took it like this was a call out to people that weren't going to act proper. It's like a follow up to the last song. Like, you have to behave a certain way because there's consequences, and here we're kind of exploring that even further, right? Like, look at the second verse, right? There you go again, talking like a div. Like, I can't find out where you live. I fucking love that, right? Because that's a flex, right? That's a boss flex. That's like, oh, you think you can hide from me? You think I don't have people watching? You know, you think you can escape this situation?
Yeah.
You know, kick off your latch. I don't even need a ratch. So it's like he's coming for you, doesn't even need a gun. He's just going to get his vengeance on it in the situation. And I feel like pretty much the whole thing is like him looking at people who talk a lot, aren't trustworthy, toxic. They're toxic snake types. And you're supposed to watch how your friends move, the people around you and your crew, and cut off any of the people that are toxic. That's what I took from this track. Like, I met bad boys from every rough friends. You can never talk to me about skins. You talk tough. You ate sandmucks. I'll chop you up and share you out with your friends. It's like, don't come up to him and try to front away. Don't present yourself in a fake way. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're fake. Don't be 6ix9ine. That's basically this track. Like, don't be with these people who are gonna move away. And I get what he's saying, because where you can generalize this is to everything, man. Like, you can look at making podcasts and how people want to treat it without saying names. Like, I had an experience with somebody where they really wasted my time and were taking advantage of my situation, and I thought about that and I reviewed, and now I'm cutting them off. They don't need to necessarily know it. The details don't matter, but in my heart and soul, I'm cutting them off. Even if I have to politic with them, even if I have to see their face, they're not on the team. I evaluated the situation. So I feel like it's a little bit from that point of view. Think about what the people around you say and do. And meanwhile, you're right, man. It's got this grimy, darker beat. It's kind of got this more horror feel to it going on. Because I guess in a situation, it is a stronger, darker, tougher thing. Like, you got to be mean for it. Not even mean per se, but you got to do what you got to do to protect yourself and move forward. So in that regard, I completely agree with you, Chris.
More like cold instead of mean.
What I want to comment, like, is super cool how through the flow of the album,
Sorry?
I think
you cut.
Yo.
Yeah, Yeah, we're here. Go on. Go.
Okay, so I feel like in terms of the album and the way that the story is, or at least the sonic story, right? I like how the beat changed, which also shows his versatility in just giving you that atmosphere.
We've
And I
said
think
that.
that that plays a really, really big part. Well, I just wanted to emphasize it because it was
We've
really cool.
emphasized it. Like we've said that several times, sir. Um, anyhow, do you have more to add to that?
No, that's it.
All right, let's move on to Hold Ya Mouth. And I feel like, yo, just to continue on with the idea, this track is like a direct continuation to the theme of the last song, right? Then there's a flow in terms of like this album is almost like structured in a way where each topic builds into the next one in a way that's just perfect. So this is almost like the continuation of cutting them off. After that, you better watch your mouth if you're going to still come on this way, because there's consequences at that point. But what do y'all think about this one? Whoever wants to go first, go for it.
I'm just gonna shoot it out there. I really, really like what Dizzee does on this track, but I just want to, for my personal part, I just want to highlight what God Gift did. That was just super dope. Everything with Dizzee was really solid, and like I don't have much to say more than what I've already said, and we also have some other tracks I want to talk about. But what I really want to, like I said, what I really want to highlight is God's Gift. Like that was crazy. Just every line had a gun cock or a gun load, and it was really emphasizing that seriousness in terms of like, don't really fuck with me. You don't want to feel the heat from my gun cock. I roll deep with my gun cock. I'm always on the street with the gun cock. Like, it just really brought that like savagery there. It really just brought that idea of like, yo, we're serious about this. And I thought that that was super cool. His voice was epic. Everything about what was going on with that was super dope. I liked it. I gave this song a 4.3 on 5. Again, I don't want to take away from Dizzee Rascal. It's just he did super solid.
Okay, fair enough. And you, Bonnie?
Yeah, he's basically just saying, you can talk as much shit as you want, but it's going to come back to you and bite you in the ass. And, doesn't want to start shit, but he'll come at you if needed. Sort of like the same sort of theme that we're getting in the last couple of songs. Don't fuck around with him and his crew, because you're going to get it. And, I like the gun sounds featured at the end. And so it kind of, tells you what's going on. It's like, if you talk shit, you're going to get your ass blown. Like, that's how it's going to be. And, but for me, like another one that was a little less enjoyable than some of the other ones that we've heard. But, it's still good. It's just, more of a we're a badass, don't fuck with us kind of track. So another 4.2 on 5 from me.
I don't remember if I gave my last grade, but I gave Cut Him Off a 4.25. And I'm giving Hold Your Mouth a 4.25. And a lot of it's the beats and the overall style, but part of it was my own fault. So what happened was I started dancing earlier on in the album. And then I got to this point where, like, I couldn't, like, my heart rate was in, like, the 145 range. I was getting my cardio. My Fitbit was loving me. And then all of a sudden, the energy just kind of, like, changed. Yeah. And I couldn't keep dancing. Like, I could, by the end of the album, I was dancing again. But this felt like the dance list part. And it's cool because, like, all the things we said, versatility and showcasing all the style. But maybe it's, like I know it's stupid, but sometimes something like that can just impact your listening experience a lot, right? Just these little things. Now, that is a time and place thing, and overall, that doesn't mean shit.
Right.
But I love the way that this song follows the last one. Like I said, like, it's almost like you cut them off in the last one, but then when you cut them off, what happens? They start talking shit. They start coming at it like this. Maybe you have to run into them. Like I said, diplomacy becomes a thing. You have to politic. And I think that's really exemplified in this chorus. I don't want beef today. It's not arms today. Let's keep it calm today. Let's be friends. It's just like, you know what? We'll be friends. But it's like an irony, dark sarcasm to the way he's saying it. Yeah. Like, look, I don't fucking like you. We'll be friends for the sake of appearances in this moment. Don't even get it twisted. But at the same time, let's just keep the peace for the sake of the moment. And again, it's like these wisdom bombs in here. It's like, even if you can't stand this person, even if we're going to proceed to do all of the gun bar shit things going on like that, basically you're gonna be in a position where, like, you don't have to go that route. But if you want to, that's when God's gift comes in. You got a problem, let's solve it. And then he flows in like with that kind of thing, which I think adds like a whole extra layer to it, which I think is really cool from an artistic front. Is it lets Dizzee Wright maintain the character that he's been playing, but use his friend.
Right, Dizzee Rascal.
Dizzee Rascal, you're right. That was my bad. Sorry, anyone watching. So Dizzee Rascal kind of maintains almost the moral high ground in how he's presented himself the whole project, and honestly lets God's gift play the role of like the goon, for lack of a better term, who validates what happens if you fuck with the boss man. And from like a theatrical point of view, I love the division there, and I think it makes it Dizzee Rascal's whole presence come off even stronger, because a boss wouldn't be the one pulling the gun at the end of the day, right? Yeah. The boss would have the friend coming through and pull. Like, if you really look into mafia structures, and Valuetainment is a great YouTube channel where they talk to ex-mobsters fresh out of jail who can spill all the secrets because, well, the cases are closed now. And you learn a lot. The way that this is structured is brilliant. I think it's still a 4.25, mostly because of the beat and the vibe and the dancing, like I said. But I love the concepts and how it's pushing it forward, and again, giving you a sense of how to operate and move in the environment. But it's been real heavy, everyone. We've been talking a lot about heavy subject matters. Something else that's real important when you out there is the ladies. Mm-hmm. So why don't we go and talk about Round We Go?
All right.
Whoa!
So what y'all think about this one? Was it fun? Did y'all fun going round and round with the hose?
It made me think of like some other like rapper song. I feel like maybe like a merry-go-round or maybe like a carousel. I'm not sure.
Whoa!
It definitely made me think of that. Caress.
Yes, thank you. I did too. I did the whole
round we go. Because that's not copywritten, so we can actually sing that on our stream.
So, it just kind of starts off with him saying, I love you a few times. And then it's about love and friendship as well, I think, a little bit. And sort of like just like questioning the easiness of love and how we love everyone, and how it's like it's not necessarily like real love. It's just something that we say like to get things and kind of to manipulate situations and people and things like that. But like our society isn't really loving all that much, or especially like what he's seeing and the way he's getting treated maybe. And people just kind of throw their love away, and it's like a cycle of like finding another person to love, like just sort of like getting that other person, and just like it makes you feel better, kind of like that kind of using type situation almost. Just being like easy with it and just like all of that, and around and around like a carousel, and also like just like the shame that like this kind of love can leave you with. And because love can cause you to make stupid moves and kind of maybe not always the right choices, but because you felt like you were in love and you were in the moment, like you did this stupid thing, and like maybe you were now people know about it or whatever, or like the girl talk shit or whatever. Like it's just sort of like this, but you're just gonna go and do it again, so it just never stops. So just sort of like questioning love and the way it makes everybody behave. So that's pretty much it. So I give this one a 4.3 on 5. What do you think,
Chris?
I'm gonna have to disagree. This is strictly about hoes. This song for me is strictly
I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Chris. I'm agreeing with Bonnie. I'm just gonna throw that out. So you got to qualify now why it's just about hoes.
I in the chorus, ain't no love thing here. It's just one big circle here. You ain't no friendship here. It's just one big cycle here. Like, it just really kind of, I'll wreck any girl, check any girl, I accept any girl, rarely reject any girl.
That's definitely the second verse and how he feels about the situation.
I'll just select any girl.
You've ignored the whole first verse and just contextualizing your song meaning from the second verse.
She used to love him, he used to love her, she used to kiss him, he used to hug her. I don't know, like, for me, it really just felt more like this whole song was about how he got his heart broken, and then he went into like this whole man whore phase.
Okay.
That's kind of just what I took from this. It wasn't really one of the hypest songs for me on this album either. It really just kind of landed at a 4 on 5. It's just, I don't know. It was just meh to me. But that's really it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to say you skipped the first and third verse with that one, because the first and third verse is totally at all the qualifications to what Bonnie was saying. Like, Bonnie got this spot on. Yo, this is about like people pretending about love and shit when everyone's kind of stabbing each other in the back. And this is everyone. Like, why are you walking through these illusions? There's no love here. Everybody's betraying everyone.
Yep.
There's no friendship here. There's none of that here. We just have this cycle of betrayal that's going round and round and round. So yes, there are hoes in the equation.
There are
but
hoes
to diminish
in this
it
house.
like this isn't commenting on the social political implications of the lack and absence of healthy, loving relationships in the hood environment is very much diminishing the depth of this track, in my opinion. Because in that first verse, right, it does say all this stuff like, this is what it used to be like, call it puppy love, this is what we used to call it, this is what it was like. Then she moved on quick and he doesn't know what's up, and what he's describing is the cycle of like having your heart broke and then fucking the next people and the lack of whatever. But it's not just the girls, it's also the men. Like, it is everyone participating in this cycle of breaking each other's hearts and lacking of trust. And it's why he, and this is where the second verse is kind of about him, fucks all these girls and doesn't give a shit. Because what's the point? Y'all are full of shit with your love stuff, so why am I going to waste my time participating in your fucking fake-ass games?
Yeah.
Let me just get my dick wet. And I totally respect what he's saying with that in the context of what he's seeing, because we have seen so many rappers talk about how their experiences with love have been this. All these relationships being transactional, all these people just being participating in like this, you know, OPP reality.
Right.
So with that, he's saying, let's cut the shit. I don't fucking care about this love thing. It doesn't exist here. Nobody here is in love. Everybody here is in lust, you know? And even, especially if you base your idea of love off of fucking TV, where we were just discussing this, love as you see it in 90s rom-coms is actually lust. It is rarely actually love. It is all lust. So many people were just brainwashed into believing lust was love, that like he's kind of calling bullshit. Like, look at the third verse. What's all this love ting talk? Holding hands everywhere you talk. She turned you bow cut, now you lick toes. If she's not faithful, everybody knows. So he's saying, why are you calling it love? What are you fucking doing? What kind of weird world do you live in where like this girl loves you? That's not reality, dog. Come back down to reality, and instead, this is what's really happening.
Right.
That's what I took from this track. Meanwhile, I felt like musically it's just really well done. We have moved up. But yo, check it. There's some hilarious bars here. Late night, daylight, big pimpin'. Why you laughing? That's your girl I'm linking. That's a hilarious bar to me, because it is showing off like, y'all think I'm joking. Y'all think I'm telling whatever. But end of the day, it's your girl that I have on the line. It's about you, because you're the stupid fool that believes your girl loves you. I know my girl loves me. I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, what's up? But in general, that's what he's talking about. And I thought that was a super powerful track, because in a sense, it really does follow the idea of hold your mouth. Don't be talking all that shit about love now. And he just pivots the album. And that's how he's been brilliant with keeping this album alive at a song-to-song storytelling element, because it really does connect if you think about it, but takes it in a different direction. And now that we've talked about a little bit how you're a loser, because that's kind of what he's doing. You're a loser is a good theme on this album for him. Let's talk about him a little bit more with, may I just say, possibly the best song on the album is coming up next? Dizzee Rascal. Mr. Christopher, how do you feel about this track?
This is hype. This is really hype. The aspect of him just being free on this was really there. Like, you could tell he went into the booth and he just went crazy and just had so much fun with this, that I really felt that energetic vibe. I really like how the chorus has that echoey feel, that opera echoey feel to it. Saying that he's just a rascal, kind of giving you this emphasis of like this like, you know, somebody who's always kind of getting into trouble and always kind of just running around and doing certain things. And I like how it just kind of emphasizes his name, rhyming with the word rascal. So I thought that was super cool. Well, I like how he pays respect. Yo, London, stand up tall. I like how he's shouting out London, putting them on the map like that, and making sure that like everybody knows where he's from. That was cool. And then he just really goes in bar for bar, like stress on the brain, complaining to the fool, stress on the brain, complaining to the max. Like right away, he's already saying, he's giving you this idea like, yo, I got stress. I got to deal with some certain shit but I'm complaining to people who may not really understand. But then he follows it up with, I'm going to search for big money stacks, top tens or platinum plaques, like solidifying that idea that he's just going to stay determined and really go. And that's really kind of what a lot of this track's about. And then like just kind of giving you more about who he is. I'm a rude boy, Dan Gargan, Daps. I got the game in my hand like Dax, which...
Interpret the bars, Chris. Don't just read the bars.
Well, like, he's basically saying he's not somebody to be fucked with. I like how he did the Dax shout out.
What does Dangergan mean?
I don't know what Dangergan means. It just sounded really cool, but it's probably insinuating that he's not somebody, that he's like,
all right,
cool.
That's not an adequate answer. We're going to do a quick Google because we're going to say the bars, Chris. We got to add an interpretation. So, according to Urban Dictionary, everyone, a Dangergan is a bad man. Now we know.
Now we know. But that's still part of what the whole track's about. He was really just going off. I like that rocky feel behind the track. I like the guitar, how he like went crazy on the guitar riffs. Those were really insane. His level of just listening, of being able to follow music and listening to different of the instrumentals, which I'm assuming is because he produced this. It's really, really good. Like, just the technical aspect of how he connects everything was super dope on this. I gave this track a 4.5 on 5.
Fair enough. And how do you feel about this one?
Yeah, I like this one. We were back into like the energetic tracks with this one because the last three were kind of a little bit slower. So this is kind of like a little bit more like on the upwards trend. The beat is really cool, and like I found that some of the ad libs kind of sounded like a Muppet doing them, which I had no problem with at all. I think it's awesome. I love Muppets. So it's really cool. And like sort of like operatic as well, like the rascal, like that thing or whatever. And it's cool. He's just a rascal. You know, he works hard and he gets his money and he gets awards and everything else. And Dizzee just like wins the game. I like some of the lyrics. I like the just sit back and settle. I'm hot like a kettle. You might get scalded or burnt up. I thought that was funny, and also like it just made me think of like the fact that he's talking like talking about a kettle just makes me think again
he's
they're from England. They probably drink a lot of tea. There's a lot of tea brewing all over the place. Everybody's got a kettle. I don't know. I thought it was cool. It was fun while still being like tough. I like it. It has good energy. I gave it a 4.5.
Fair enough. This track is his calling card. Like, let's be real. That's what this is. So, yes, he's presenting himself like he's a big boss man, but it's not just like he's a big boss man. It's basically his version of My Name Is, right? Like, down to, I'm pretty sure he says what my name is at one point in it, like what's his name or whatever. I think it's really cool, right?
And this is his first album, so that makes sense.
And if you listen to all the bars, they are floss. But they're not just like I'm a boss, but there's stuff like I hustle hard, I stay legitimate, you know, don't fuck with me. And I just feel like he wins. He takes on the situation. Like, I don't know if there's a lot more I can interpret because I find he's very blatant and he's saying shit to whatever. But stress on my brain, complain to the max. Stress on my brain, complain, but I know gotta get money, gotta get a lot of dough. I just took that whole stress on my brain thing like, yo, I gotta get money because it's stressing me the fuck out. And when he complains, I took that like that's his bars, right? He's basically, when he's complaining, he's spitting his shits. So he takes his shit and he brings it to the full, given the energy of the album. So it's kind of like he's using his lyricism and his energies to build the stacks. And I thought that was almost like a mission statement. Like, I'm Dizzee, I'm here. Overall, the beat is nuts. It is one of my favorite beats on this project because I'm a sucker for like good guitar riffs like that. Like, it's tapping into that rock metal energy, right? It's like also showing that he's not afraid to go play. This is 2003. This is like, I guess nu metal's popped at this point, and maybe there is some more fusion, but it still feels like a brave thing to do, you know? And maybe not for the UK. Maybe in the UK, this was some common ass shit. From my humble ass Montreal ass perspective, that's kind of how I took. So I recognize, you know, cultural gaps and stuff. But yo, this is This is the coolest shit. This is just like, you want to jump, you want to mosh, you want to throw down. That chorus is next level-y. Like, the operaticness just balances it all well. This is an experience, right? Because sometimes it isn't necessarily about, oh, I got hard bars. It's just about delivering an experience worth fucking vibing to. Picture the live show. Y'all gonna be dripping in sweat by the time this track's done for how much everybody's jumping and moving. You have to work out just to be able to go to the show, okay? Like, you can't go to the show and be out of shape. You're gonna not have a good time. That's my feelings listening to this song. 5 on 5. Super beautiful. Anyway, the real question is, what you on? All right, Chris, what are you on this track? Like, what are your feelings on with regards to what you on? Oh, I'm not funny today.
I felt that the consistent energy was there. I really liked the instrumental to this. The lyrics to me kind of lacked a little bit. I didn't really feel like it really captivated me as much as a lot of the other tracks did. I like the female vocals on this, like the sampling of the female vocals in the background, kind of just like responding to him in some sort of way. That was cool with the What U On or whatnot. But really, I don't know. This just wasn't something that really kind of got my attention so much. So that's what I'm going to say about it. I got a 4 on 5.
Okay. We are disappointed. But Bonnie, go on and share.
I know I am.
I'm disappointed with Christopher here. Go
on. This one is really funky.
Yeah.
And we have Caramel, I believe her name is.
She's wonderful.
Awesome. She's starting us off, and like she definitely has this like cool like auto-tuned sound on like this like super bassy kind of beat. And it's just sort of like you're trying to like come across as worth more than what you are, but really you're just fake, and like it's all fake, everything about you, and like it's kind of hard. And I really like how in the chorus Caramel says, "Where's your cash? Where's your wand?" And like now I know that that's probably some sort of slang for, you know, like where's your money, where's your gun, but like again, 2003, where he's at, it just makes me think of Harry Potter, which is British and was probably really, really popular. Was really, really popular in 2003, as all the books had not yet been released. So this is where it was at, like, you know, and it could be like, you know, obviously I think it's supposed to be like where's your like money and like where's your gun, but like it just made me think, because, you know, a wand is a powerful thing that you can do a lot of things with, and you know, you buy one and it's kind of expensive.
Just play on that. Yeah. Cash is magical in the sense that it creates. So
yeah, in that sense.
Could it be? Why would it be? Why is he asking for your dick, Chris? Why is he going, "Where's your dick"? That would be weird.
No, she's going, "Where's your cash? Where's your wand?"
Oh, you're right. Maybe. But
it just made me think, like, I assumed it was supposed to be.
I'm more inclined to think that the wand is mostly like a gun.
I took it like a credit card.
I mean, that could be that too, or maybe like a mic. Like, it could be so many symbolisms, but I'm more inclined to think, "Where's your cash? Where's your wand?" I think it's your gun, or "Where's your cash? Where's your wand?" It could be your dick. Like, that's the two that I'm going to go with.
I feel like it's supposed to be gun.
I feel like it could be gun in the sense it's hard. Or it could be money in the sense, because, I mean, I'm just stretching here. I know wand is gun in a lot of worlds, but it could be
in Harry Potter world.
Where's your power as a boss to make things happen? Magic.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
So I think it could be that too. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
But anyways,
gonna go with, I don't think it's his dick. That's just
HP in the house is all I got to say about that. Anyways, I mean, Caramel's ad-libs are just so good, like that money, like that thing that she does. Like, it just sounds like, I don't know, I love it. It's all about guns and money, really. It's pretty damn good. It has like a fantastic like energy and sound. The flow is amazing. 4.9 on 5 from me.
Well, I'm sorry, Bonnie, but that grade is too low for my likings. Because this shit's another 5, all right? Because this shit's 5 minutes long, too, right? It's 5 minutes of fucking dopeness. You're dancing to this shit. It's got a fucking thing. But love talks to everybody. Money talks more. Here's the thing. You want to act like in the real world and shit that, in principle land, in the world of middle class movies, in that world of fairy tale land where everyone's polite and shit and nothing's real, love is the real answer for shit. But let's be real, Christmas is about money more than it's about love. Everything's about money more than it's about love. And I don't like it. I actively live my life in protest to that reality. But the reality is still the reality. If I have money, or the means to create you money, or the means to create an environment, well, that's an interesting thing. That is magic. But if I can't do that, then I'm not very magician, am I? I'm just a loser.
Yep.
And then you got big shout out to the boy who think he's dapper. I like that because it's like, okay, I don't know if it's actually meant at himself or not, but I feel like he's looking at people with their fucking money, with their shits and whatnot, and it's really like you're materialistic. And because he's pointing out stuff like watches and jewelries, and he's like, oh, you think that's what makes you a boss? Okay, let me show you that as I rob you, as I take your shit, you know? Because that's kind of what I think. You're looking at your half ounce thinking you're scones. That's a cool line too, because he said scones. How British is that, right?
Yeah, true.
And that's rocks, I guess. But like, come on, scones. I'm so
I
Canadian
think it's
here.
supposed to be, it's like supposed to be like pennies, like it's like nothing almost, like because scones I think are made pretty cheaply and with like minimal. I've never made scones, but I feel like it's just like not a lot of things go into it. So I thought it was like cheap, like here's your scones, like it's bland.
But overall, you get the sense of he's not impressed with you. He's not impressed with fake people. And then you get back to that chorus, like, yo, where's your shit? You're fake. That's what that chorus is. Whereas Dizzee, not fake. And then he's also in the second verse pointing it out to girls, like, yo, you think you're so cool, you think you're so hot shit, now you just wonder an underachiever. That's what you are. You ain't really got things going on for you. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked that he went at everybody in this. And then in the last verse, it's people who talk on his name, people who come at him, you know, when really he's just winning and you're just jealous.
Yep.
So I like how he does it. Actually, what?
According to Urban Dictionary, scone for British is apparently, yo man, I need to light this blunt. Pass me the scone. So I guess like a lighter or something. So you could be a scones, lighter, or matches. You could be a G, but pass anything. That's minor to me. So like,
Okay.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
How about y'all who actually understand UK slang? Break it down to us, because, yo, we doing our best. We Canadians. There's a whole ocean between us, although the same queen that, you know, it's just what it is for some reason. But yeah, I really like the track. I really like the overall consistent sense of I'm boss, you're not, but don't be fake about it. It isn't, because it tells you how to be boss. It tells you don't flash your wealth. It tells you this, that, the next thing. Those things being how to present yourself, how to behave. It's not just fuck you. And I like that about how he approaches this album. I really think it's meant to be a guide. The beat is amazing. You're able to dance to this. You're able to flow to this and vibe. And it's real cool. But while we're talking about the subject of people who might not be the most credible to deal with, he keeps the story going in a new direction with Jezebel. Yeah, this beat has a weird timing. I don't know if the time signature is 4/4 or not. Maybe it's just in my head, but I feel like there's a weird timing to the beat, and I like it. I like the heavy percussion in the beat. Is really, really cool. And the track is a story. Who wants to start? Bonnie, you're a lady. Maybe
I
you should
am a
start
lady.
this one.
Turns out I am. So I like the telling of a story of, you know, this local hoe, and, you know, basically like how there's one in, you know, every neighborhood there's a girl like this, and so just be careful. And in this case, she, you know, he's talking about this particular one, and, you know, she's you know, a high school dropout, and she sleeps around. She's not, you know, so maybe not educated, doesn't really like maybe like have anywhere to go, maybe on the dole, or, you know, welfare, whatever it is. And, you know, she's, you know, she sleeps around a lot and is easy and, you know, does all these things. But then, you know, I guess she ends up in the hands of an abuser. And, you know, he, you know, as he says that, you know, he beats her and rapes her and like all of this stuff. And you're like, geez. And, but also that then tells her that if she leaves, that he will kill her. And this is like not, sadly, and, you know, an uncommon story. Like this does happen. You know, and it is a pretty like serious topic. And in terms of like the beat, like the dee 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 dee, like I'm not that it's like an uppity beat, but it's just like kind of like a playful beat. And so it's just interesting that like this is kind of more of like a serious topic. And he's kind of saying he doesn't want this kind of girl. Like, don't worry, like this is not what he's interested in. And then he also says that, you know, like girls like this like want expensive things, and like they go for like these like rich guys because they think that they can give them the things that they want, but at that cost, like, you know, like she's ignoring like these nice guys because they maybe don't have as much money or they're broke or whatever, that are going to treat her right. And she would rather go for like this abuser, terrible person, but he's got money, so okay, you know, it's good for her. You know, and she's just like a hoe and ends up like catching an STD and, you know, sleeps around.
Even okay, that whole second verse though, we have to go into that because this track is sequential again. And Chris, I'll give it to you. This one is entirely about a hoe. That was a joke, Chris. Anyway, because you're right. At the first part, she meets this girl. She's materialistic. In the second verse, now she's all this stuff. She's kind of high, right? Like she's being force-fed. I don't know if it's codeine because she's acting kind of slow or something else. But you get the idea that she's kind of like falling in love with a guy. She has the money. They call her Jezebel. But then she starts getting like passed around, right? So like if you don't do it, she gets the shit kicked out of her. And then basically they're all smashing her raw is what I got the idea. Jezzy wasn't expecting more than 4, but what could she say? She just did it anyway. That means that like
also like maybe like the guy that she's with is like passing her around.
He's the one who's passing her around and saying you gotta fuck these people because as we've established, you can't leave. You're trapped now. And you're being used in this kind of way. And so he passes her around.
This is like what he thought that she was, and kind of like how she presented herself.
And this is how he's kind of treating her. So then she gets all of the dudes, and because she ends up fucking so many guys raw, she gets set up.
And then, you know, it says passes it on, like, you know, to like the next guy. So it just is going to keep happening and whatever. And then, you know, she ends up pregnant, and, you know, she has like these 2 kids, and she's, you know, I think she becomes a single mom. Like the guy just like, you know, kicks her out and whatever. And, you know, I think she's just sort of like reflecting on like her life and like what she did and like how she ended up in this circumstance, and kind of regrets her life decisions that led her to where she is now.
There's also just that one line, 2 kids, even worse, 2 little girls, 2 more of her, that's 2 Jezebels, 2 fatherless kids, 1 single mom. So I think what it's trying to say is that the worst part of the situation is that it creates a cycle, and there's 2 of them now. So it's like 2 people that you're bringing into this, and I don't know. I just like the fact that this track doesn't necessarily take, like, I don't feel like it's slut shaming. I feel like it's very cautionary. Like, y'all don't necessarily know who you're fucking with.
Like, I think it's cautionary to, like, both, like, the men out there and to the girls out there who maybe are seeing girls like this, or are the girls that are like this.
Or at least to the men, be careful because you don't know who she's with, who she's been with, and how they're treated. But it seems really, like, also, like, to raise awareness to the world, like, this is stuff that actually happens, right? Because this doesn't happen in middle-class life to this degree kind of shit.
Well, I mean, I suppose it does. I mean, like, I think that women get abused, you know, rich or poor, you know, white or black. Like, I think women get abused. I'm not saying the abuse
part. I'm saying this particular cycle of everything as this song flows out, down to, like, being left fatherless and all this other shit. And, you know, basically being a product passed. Like, I'm going to say most of the girls I know from middle-class America didn't actually have a train ran on them at any point. Like,
and if they did, they wanted it. You know, it wasn't like something that was, like, forced upon them.
So, like, I'm just going to... That's anecdotal. I might be wrong.
Yeah, that's
I'm
fair.
going to say there's some differences there. Anyway, I like this song.
I liked it, too. I mean, I always appreciate a good story, so I gave this one a 4.5 on 5.
I give it a 4.75. I think it's really strong, and... the storytelling is vivid, identifying something that you really don't hear a lot of, and a perspective that to this day you still don't get a lot of, with the level of vivid honesty and like social impact. Like, it's not just fuck you, it's fuck you because look at the impact on our community it's having.
Right.
And that's like where it really gets put to the biggest level, justifying him spitting on that real shit. All right, Chris, I guess that leaves you.
I mean, y'all broke it down really, really well. What I took from this track, on top of everything you guys broke down about it, was I feel like 2 things. One, the storytelling of this Jezebel woman is very deep, very detailed, very constructed properly in a way that, like you said, doesn't slut shame or nothing. I think it's supposed to bring this discussion of this is kind of like the only life she knows. I got that because how the end of the cycle at the end of it, where like where Dizzee is explaining, like, you know, she has two kids and the cycle's restarting. I feel like he kind of starts off the song already introducing that cycle, but doing it in a way where he's just presenting the Jezebel woman. Like, you have to kind of, like, as he's presenting her, you kind of have to look past and be like, okay, she's probably a woman without a dad around or something like that, which for me kind of felt like
that's a good point.
Like, that's a conversation that needs to be had, where like the impact of a father in a woman's life does kind of do certain things, and that's kind of what I got from that. The other part where he's speaking to the men, which I found was really, really heavy, and like a lot of I want to say disgusting men should really listen to this and like kind of realize the trauma that they're putting on certain women and that they're causing in the world, because at no point in this song did I hear that there was a dude who was willing to be by her side and save her from that toxic loop. Not saying that men are obligated to do it, but I think that Dizzee is bringing this idea that, yo, instead of taking like advantage of this Jezebel woman who clearly has like issues, who clearly is like not stable and is trying to figure herself out, why not you be a man and
he
like
literally like says the opposite, like, I don't want to be around you, fuck you.
No, I'm not saying him directly. I'm saying not about her. I'm saying like like I kind of look at it like,
Is this
wow,
what
men are,
you feel, or is
this
this
is
what
what
the
I feel.
song
Right. Yeah,
said?
that's what I'm saying. No. That's what I feel. This is, like I said, this is what I'm interpreting, and what I personally
But
feel
when you
is
say
that
interpreting, you're saying that the song says this. I'm saying, how does the song say this?
the way that the song is presented with the men taking advantage of this woman, I felt was like Dizzee saying like, yo, y'all are pieces of shit for doing
That's
that to
fair.
her.
But where does it say, go be the hero to save her? I don't see
No,
that
that's what
anywhere.
that's exactly my point. That's what I said. I did not see at any point that there was a part that he went,
But
oh, somebody should save her.
you're right. But I
So,
question that because the subtext upon how you set up this idea is that the lack thereof of mentioning this is an implication that Dizzee feels you should go save them. And I'm questioning that because that is not what
that's what I am feeling. I'm not saying Dizzee is saying that. I'm saying that when I heard this and I heard the part that the men were doing that to her and passing her around, I was like, wow, men are shit for that. Like, Dizzee made me,
The question
for
is,
me,
are they? I mean, listen, are those guys who came in, are they aware that she's forced into it? You don't know that. Maybe they just are presented to this girl, yo, she likes to run trains, let's do it. Maybe they
which
don't even know.
I agree.
So if we want to argue that main dude's an asshole, big facts. Nobody's disputing main dude's an asshole. Are his boys stupid? Maybe. I think we can't judge the whole world based on our own ethics. We can say that we wish that maybe men were better or men didn't have this. But like, yo, listen, there's a lot of girls that like are okay with having trains ran on them too. What about those girls?
I'm not disagreeing with that, like, at all. I'm just telling you what this song kind of spoke to me. And in the context of the song, I felt bad for this girl, for
That's all
this
fair.
woman. And in feeling bad for her, I was just like, yo, like, regardless of the situation, I kind of put myself in that situation. Like I wanted to put myself in that scenario where I was just like, what would I have done? And I don't think I would have participated in any of that. I would have like tried to help her or talk to her and
So,
figured out if she was okay.
I'm just gonna dive this in because I'm like you're really like I'm curious, dude. So you're saying you're in a room with like 9 dudes smashing a chick at a party, and your move is actually gonna be, no, that girl doesn't want to get dick down. That's what you're gonna do at this party.
To be honestly fair, if you're putting me in a scenario with 9 guys dicking down a girl and I'm there, I ain't doing shit. I'm staying on the couch. Like, I ain't
Thank
even
you.
trying to participate.
That's basically all I wanted to get to because that's how I felt as I heard you talking because that's the truth of it. That's what it is. That's how I picture this being played out. But what you're getting here is how she feels in this moment, being forced into it by a guy. And it's, to me, a very specific scenario. right? Yes, there's a generalization that can happen, but we can't cast that wand on like literally everybody, everything, right? Because there are other versions of this where it's not necessary. It's also a cautionary tale, maybe, to say wear rubbers, if that's something we wanted to say. If your disgust was wear condoms, okay, I can't really dispute that. He's very clearly saying the lack of condoms passed a bunch of STDs around. Fair enough. I don't know. I just think that it's important to like be specific with these ideas, you know?
I gave this song a 4.4.
Fair enough.
Nice.
Let's move on then to Seems to Be. All right, Christopher, why don't you tell us your feelings on this track?
I didn't get it. It was consistent with the album. It was great. The production was super there. Like, I enjoyed everything about it. I didn't get the song. Like, I read it and I was just like, I didn't really understand. But it landed at a 4.2 because he's very talented, and just the way that he like keeps up with that hype beat just was really great. I mean, it's a great song. So 4.2. That's all I really have to say.
Awesome. And your lady friend Bonnie?
Same. I don't have too much to say about this one, honestly. You know, he's not what's popular, and he's not what everybody else is doing. Is basically it. I like the chorus, and I like the flow that it has. He makes kick-ass rhymes and gets attention that he knew he'd get because he's so great. And just another hype song. So really, it's just got really great energy, and like the lyrics are great. 4.6 on 5 for me.
So I definitely do feel this track is more on the braggadociousness side of it all. It definitely doesn't necessarily. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it really brings a lot more to the table in terms of a review perspective of new content to break down and discuss that wouldn't get repetitive. However, the beat is really amazing, as everyone has said. I'm still dancing at this point, although I'm getting a little tired because, well, I'm in better shape. I'm not fully there yet. My favorite line was, "Come like Busta, we flip these," because I love it when rappers or artists shout out influences, and I can see how Busta Rhymes was an influence to his flow and the erratic nature of how he does this. So the fact that he gave that kudos plus flip mode, we flip these, is pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. And overall, I feel like there's a youth-orientedness to this because, you know, this one's strictly for the picknies. Picknies is patois for children. Old school Afro, dry whiteness. I mean, it just kind of, I guess, feels like an anthem. I don't, again, fully get all of the terms used in the slangs, but it just feels like a braggadocious anthem. I like the fact that he carries condoms for the house. Again, very important, and theme with the message in the last track where we were facing STIs. Something else I wanted to point out, because like I forgot, is there's a couple of things where there's like album continuity, like when he says Live O a lot. I know he doesn't say Live O on this one, and I know what the name of the next track is, but like just that idea of consistent themes that come through is actually like important to create an album experience and whatnot. So I really like that he knew that this was an album that you were going to be listening to. I don't have more to say on this one either. I think it's vibes, real, proper, and I'm going to give it a 4.5 because it just wowed out. It's some real big fun.
Yep.
And we can move on to Live O.
Yep.
So there's like an answering machine beep that keeps playing throughout the whole song. And there's a little sample of like the answering machine shit at the beginning. And the song's called Live O, which is kind of like, as I understood on the internet, like, you know, live and direct, in person, you know, kind of like coming through, like, what's up? It's like a way of greeting somebody. So I thought it was cool that it has this like voicemail feel to it, while like a juxtaposition sense against the title and whatnot. But what do you think of it, Christopher?
It's pretty straightforward. Live-O means to be amped up, to be fully energetic and pumped up, and that's really the whole premise of the track. It's very consistent with the last one, where it's just kind of braggadocious and bar for bar really just kind of going in. But like there isn't, for me, there wasn't really much like, oh, like a lot of what he says was super cool in terms of like bars, but like in
Give
terms
us an
of like
example. What was the cool bars? How are they cool?
it was just like I didn't really quote many bars because I just felt it was a little bit like we kind of got this already. But it was more the way like I don't want to screw, but nothing ain't new. I make to kill your whole crew when I come through, and you know it's true. So what you going to do? You ain't got the foggiest, ain't got no clue. It's like you're getting these like slices as he's coming at you. The way he says the bars, the way he just pauses and comes, it's like he's cutting you with blades, and it
Okay.
really gives up that like amplified feel.
Yeah.
Got a little fame, and yeah, I got game. I like how he's solidifying that, and he's like, "Yo, look, he's being humble about it. He's not being like
Yeah.
super braggadocious, but he's being like, yo, I know where I stand. Get my way with your
All right.
game just for my name. Like
We got the example.
right,
To
like
prove the
it's a lot of
example.
like braggadociousness, and I did enjoy it. I thought it was cool. I gave it a 4.3.
Are you your lady friend, Bonnie?
Yeah, I mean, same sort of vibe, right? So I mean, there's a lot of like hype bars on another cool beat. Some of the beat, like the lyrics that I liked were, "All I got to say, get out of the way. Dizzee Rascal's hot
This
like
is
a
where we get
summer's day,
slaughtered. You're like, why is this girl doing this accent?
and I hit MCs like croquet." Like, who talks about croquet in their rap? Like, come on, like that's cool. And again, very British.
Big facts.
And then like like a few more whatever, like anyways, get wet like Perrier. And I don't know, I thought it was just cool. Like, they're unique bars that like I feel like nobody else has really said, so I like them. It's cool. 4.6 on 5. He's hype.
I like when he said ice try hockey stick, break collarbones. Big ups to representing something over on our side of the pond. Hockey sticks. Anyway, this track's just fucking fire in terms of what it does. It creates an energy, but also the beat's very different. It's very interesting to listen to, and I didn't like it the first time, honestly. I had to listen to it a couple times to really get my head into the groove, but once I did, I found myself really liking the way he just kind of rides into the beat. I feel like he can see, at this point, he has presented himself. This is just kind of like the closest thing to filler I think I heard on the album. It's not bad because I give it a 4.5. I really enjoy it, but I guess it's in the sense I don't think it brings anything new to the table this deep into the project, but it's still a live, fun, and enjoyable track overall. Y'all said what needed to be said. That's about it for me. I think it's a fine song without wasting y'all time. You should listen to it.
Right.
There's one more track on the album proper, right? Because there's a bonus track, but the album proper ends with "Do It." We're back to the dinglies in the beat. Can we just say that the dinglies are here again?
But I do want to mention that, like, even with the dinglies, this beat was completely different than what I heard on this project. Personally, I felt like this beat was more serious, more, I guess, down to earth, I want to say, in terms of like the hypeness to a lot of the other beats, the energy, the liveliness to it. So
That makes
I
total
felt like,
sense because
right,
it's
like I
the
felt like
last song.
this song, yeah, but I also wanted to mention, like, I like how he did it though on the project, as like you go through this wild experience and then comes down and like settles down on this like really deep introspective in his brain. Like, just the way he starts the first verse, like, sometimes I wake up wishing I could sleep forever. I spend my whole life trying to pull myself together. Like, I kind of felt bad for him. I kind of resonated with him a little bit. Just be like, yo, like, I get you. Like, after wilding out and after having all these experiences, like, you kind of feel alone sometimes, or you just wake up and you're like, fuck, I'm tired. Like, I'm drained. Trying to reassure myself that I ain't going mad. Like, depending on where he is in his life, the fame, the girls, the this, the that, the money. Like, even when we think about his past, right, and like going up on road and running all these things and all these stuff, it's like you really kind of get this sense that he has to take a moment to kind of recollaborate himself and be like, yo, like, where the fuck am I for a moment? And I also feel a little bit of like depression. I also sense a little bit of fear and a little bit of like pain in this song as well, which is why I like in the chorus that he's like, um pushing you to just do it and like telling himself to just move forward and like keep going, keep on staying committed to what you're doing. I like how the chorus goes like, sleep tight, everything will be all right. By the end of the night will be the day, just pray. And it's like just kind of giving you this
Just
sense
pray
of
that you see it. You cut the light off.
what? Sleep
The
tight.
line is
Everything.
just pray that you see it, not just pray.
Like, pray that you
My
see
bad.
like tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah.
But still like emphasizing it and bringing that light of new opportunities, and you made it through today. That's a blessing. And then tomorrow's going to be a new one, and we can keep moving forward. I really, really like this song. Was really, really good. I really liked it. I landed this at a 4.5.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, I mean that's pretty interesting that you found it like this one like didn't fit, because I felt like this, well, not that it didn't fit, but like that it sounded differently for you. Like for me, like this one, like right away I just like connected it with like the first track.
Yeah.
Like it had like that vibe, like something about like the beat.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know what it was because I went and listened to the beat, but it's not the same beat, but it's like on par with the same beat. It's sort of interesting. And so I like that it kind of makes the album feel like complete. Like we've got like the beginning and then the end. Like this is the same sort of thing. And where he was sitting there talking about his what he was seeing, and like this one is a little bit more introspective. Talking about his life and his troubles and the things that that he thinks about, like what's on his mind, and the more he has, the more he worries and fears, and he feels, and like all these different things. And he's talking about that he's living through hard times without the help, or he has lived through hard times, and without the help of anybody, and he doesn't necessarily have somebody that's compassionate, that understands what he's going through, to speak to anybody that's going to like give him like big ups, like he doesn't maybe have that. He's got all these people who are running around maybe kind of being trouble, whereas he's different from them, and he sees that and he knows that, and he's just trying to like follow his path. And but he also says kind of like that you're capable of anything, and just kind of gives like this message to just like stay strong, and you can do whatever you want, so it sort of ends with the same the same sort of questioning of life, but like with more of like a reassurance, and more with like this like hopeful feeling that it's like you're going to do it. You're going to be okay. Like you're going to, it sucks, and I understand like what you're going through, but like you're going to get through it, and you're going to see, get to the other side. And if you make the choice to do something different from what other people around you are doing, which you see as maybe not like the best way of living or doing things or whatever, then do it. Like follow like the right path and just stick with it. And like that's what he's saying. And so I thought it was cool. I gave it a 4.4.
Yeah, I definitely think from off the jump, this song just sounds like an album closer. It's just perfect. It's just exactly what it's supposed to be. It gives a sense of finality in that beat. It's like the credits of a movie closing. There's like the sounds it kind of feels. But I really think that the point of this song is to show up to the people that, because he spent the whole album presenting himself like big up, stoic, big man. Mm-hmm. And now he's letting you know that even big man has real emotions and insecurities and stuff too, because it's a huge part of the human experience that's often overlooked. So yes, there's a sense of, I wouldn't call it depression, I'd call it more anxiety, doubt, fear, the weaknesses, all the weak things that are creeping through, and it's very heavy. And yes, sometimes I wish I could sleep forever kind of could come off like depressed, but that's like the one line showing the emphasis of like life is hard. But if you really flow through all of the lines together, it really is like a lack of courage, a lack of willing to do it. But then there's the sense of overcoming all that to get to the sense of just do it. So it really is like an example to people. Again, another, like, I've given you all these keys to success. Here's the last key to success. Right. At the end of the day, everyone's afraid. Everyone doubts themselves. But the fact is, just do it. Handle your shit. Handle your world, Mm-hmm. From the chorus, I took that like sleep tight, everything will be all right. By the end of the night will be the day. Just pray that you see it. Be like, focus on the fact that tomorrow is going to keep coming. It's very much in line with addiction. Just take things one day at a time. Don't fucking freak out. Don't obsess over everything in the future.
And he has the song Brand New Day on this like album. So I think it's kind of like you're living to see that brand new day. Yeah. And in the bigger sense. And this is a dark patch of your life, and through the strength and everything, you're going to be forged into the super weapon of the future. Overall, I liked it, but I didn't really like vibe with it as much, because that dancey thing, and then I'm like sitting down, I'm like, damn, it's got me in the feels. Like, objectively, it's a really great closer. Subjectively, I give it a 4.25. It would rank in my least favorite tracks on this album, of which my least favorite song on this album is still great compared to
other people that are not Dizzee Rascal.
Yeah.
This is relative to the album.
Yeah.
So understand, I think this is still some excellent deliveries and stuff. There is also the sense that sometimes when you get to there is a little bit of sameness to it, and it is a new genre. So for me, there's a lot of excitement at first, and then as you get into it, it's like excitement, maybe waiting, maybe I was just tired. So I'm just trying to throw in all the things that could have impacted my grade. Overall, we figured there was a bonus track, and that bonus track would have been was for the American release, right? So I mean, we're up on the Americans. We're not Americans. Don't call us Yankees.
We're more
not
like
Yankees.
Brits than we are. Well, I don't know.
No, it's just we've gotten called Yankees before, and
Yeah.
like we're not Yankees, because we're not. We're also calling them Yankees. Anyhow, and if you're American, we love you because you're our biggest like channel people clickers. So Vexed is what I just made everybody watching this channel. I don't know what happened between this album coming out and this track. Well, he mad. He is real mad on this song. Y'all feel that one?
Yeah.
Chris, do you agree? Do you feel that he's mad on this?
Yeah, I felt like he was mad and he was really like getting that out, the track title Vexed on point. But really, I think like for me, it just didn't really hit as much as like the album did. I just felt like it was an extension or something, but I don't know. It kind of just landed at a 4.2. I was kind of like tired at this point, and I was just like, I don't know if there's anything different that's really going to re-spark that initial flame. Not saying that this isn't good. The lyrics are great. The way he does it is great. Everything's so cool. It's quick. It's fast. It's upbeat. It's just like, all right, like, it's consistent with the project. So, yeah.
What? This song is not consistent with the project. That was my beef with it. It sounds nothing like the project. It feels like a bonus track that was like, sorry, I'm not, you're allowed to feel how you feel.
I give it a 4.2. Go ahead. Why'd you beef?
Yeah.
Well, it's not that. I'm saying this fucking sounded like a bonus track that was like thrown on and didn't fit in the album. Like, whoa, he got mad. Now, is it a bad song? No, but everything, like the mixing doesn't even feel consistent. Maybe, and to be fair, and to all credit, maybe that's the YouTube video I found. And there is actually like the mixing on it was good, but the version of the song I found, like it just sounded like it was made at a different time. And that was the thing about it that like really like hit. Otherwise, it's cool. I mean, right off the jump, he's mad. People talking shit. Evidently, there's some beef or whatever going on in his life. And it just kind of lashes back, you know? I've done all this for you, and y'all are pissing me off.
Yep.
I don't want you talking about me. And I honestly didn't have a lot of, like, interest in the track because it really is, like, keep my name out your mouth, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not trying to, like, diminish it. But after this, like, really mature how to live life kind of album, and again, I know it's a bonus song, like I'm trying to add that caveat, but like to me it was like this is a good thing it wasn't on the album.
Yeah.
Like, I do the fuck what I want, that's how I got here, and I'll be damned if I let you fussies interfere, and if I had my way you wouldn't even get near. Like, there's a tone shift. Like, I want to know what happened. Like, did he piss off the world? And it's just what I mean. Like, it feels like time has gone by. The world's come at him, and this is his like defense. The chorus is hype though. He goes like double time on that chorus, speeds it up, makes it really good. But in general, he doesn't want to fucking piss. He doesn't want to have to fight you or come at you. It's just stop talking about him, or there's going to be consequences.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't have more to say about it. I give it a 4.25. It's an enjoyable song, but because of my experience with the album so far, I had a lot of trouble getting into it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything different really to say. It's a tough sounding track with some killer lines. He's not to be fucked with. And he doesn't want to lose his cool, especially with like a loser or a hater that doesn't deserve like his energy. He's just here to show them that he's the best, and that's it. Like it's good, but like I could have lived without the bonus track. And it just kind of like, in terms of like what you guys are thinking about, I assume that this album came out and then maybe like he had haters or people that were like talking shit about him, or he kind of blew up probably a little bit, and now he's just kind of like, well, fuck you, like if you don't like my album, like too fucking bad, like I'm not gonna waste my time with you, like whatever. He's just gonna prove it that he's great and suck it, like that's just what it is. So I give it a 4.3 on 5.
All right, so I guess that we did it. We got through it all together, everyone.
Woo!
Woo! So this is the end of the album review where we do our little wrap up and reveal our scores.
Ooh.
So I'm not even gonna lie, this is a straight up classic, and I
Yeah.
mean that. Like, I want to revisit this album. There are, I'd say, 85% of this album is straight up like tunes I would bump on repeat, and I'm sad that I only discovered this project like today for how amazing it is.
Yeah.
It is high energy. It's good for working out. But on top of that, the lyrical depth, the range he shows, the versatility, and the actual concept. Like, it really is like a guide for when you're feeling like you're the boy in the corner, backed up against the world, how to operate, but also like pushing forward all these sonic experiences that are just dope. Like, overall, this is a very, very impressive album that I think stands up. And if, look, I've heard from some dude. I have one dude on my Facebook in the UK. He commented on my Gram post today, and he's like, yo, everything's drill now. Grime got kind of static and boring. Fair enough. I don't know shit all about the current state of grime and drill and hip-hop in the UK. What I can say is, from somebody that has not a lot of exposure to grime, this album is fucking nuts. It is so good, and it makes me want to listen to all of it. It makes me want to eat it up like a piggy at a buffet eating cookies. That's what I had to say about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like this album. I gave it a 4.5, so a 90%. So that's pretty good for me. And like, you know, with or without the bonus track, they both ended up with a 90%. So I do think it's timeless, and I do think it's a classic. It definitely doesn't sound like it's from a particular time necessarily. Like, it doesn't necessarily sound like 2003. Like, it could have just come out for all I know, or it could be from, you know, like
Except for that
1995,
Nokia line.
I guess, maybe, you know, like, but like the overall sound, like the quality is there, like in terms of the production, and that's on him because he did a fantastic job on the production. So amazing. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I'm glad that I'll be, you know, that I was exposed to this, and I will probably listen to it a little bit more.
Awesome. And you, Mr. Christopher?
I gave the album a 4.28. I really enjoyed it. For myself, I kind of see a lot of influence of Dizzee Rascal and a lot of like the newer artists that I see, just kind of reviewing his project and kind of how he like formulates a lot of his things. I agree, it may not be like drill or anything like that, but to be honest, like, I feel like maybe the birth of drill or something like that. I'm not going to say it was from him, but like there is a lot of...
Chris, do you know the history of drill music in the UK?
Nah.
Then we'll move on from that point.
That's it.
That's all you have to say about the album, is that you saw the impact of his bars and other people.
Well, because I listen to a lot of drill music, so for my own personal experience, I kind of listen to this and I go, oh, I kind of see where
Summarize
like...
your feelings on this album. Not
Yeah,
its
this album's
impact.
great. It's a 4.2 on 8. That's really all I got to say about the album, man.
Nice.
Okay. So thank y'all for being with us. It's totally been a pleasure. This has been our little journey through the Dizzee Rascal, my bad.
Didn't get dizzy.
Boy in the Corner album. So let us know in the comments what you thought about any of it. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe, follow whatever platform you're on. If you felt it, you know, get more of these reviews. We coming back week over week, live on this little Twitch, posted everywhere on Tuesdays after. Special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Goodamsi, Chris Pratt, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black, Hurricane, Lindell Williams, Scribble. Dope. This is Lindell Williams' request, so that's cool. If you want to support us, you can check out the Patreon, patreon.com/behindthatsuit. We make music too on the channel. You can check it out. You know, that would be cool of you. Let us know what you think. On that note, it's been a real pleasure, everyone. So live long and prosper.
Peace, guys.